Heyo. All right, everybody, come on. Here we go. Round and round we go. Where we stop, nobody knows. Settle in, everybody. Settle in. Let's do it. We're back again. Yes, we are. We're doing it live. We're doing it live. Yes, we are. Heyo. Much love, everybody. Much love. Sunday morning. All hail the sun god Helios. Helios, we speak your name. Who's here? Who's up so early on a Sunday? And what does that say about us? That Sunday morning, and here we are. All right, let's get going officially. Let's do this the right way. Like I said, production value. We have to up the production value. I'm getting close to 1,000 subscribers. That means I need to up my game. All right, who's here? Who's here? All right, hold on. Let's get started. Let's get started the right way. Me. Okay. There we are. Okay, everybody. Okay, welcome. Let's jump right on in. Good morning, everybody. Grand rising, grand approach. Greetings and salutations. Welcome back to the show that never ends. I'm your host, Zetetic Warrior. You could just call me Z. It's a lot easier to pronounce. That's right. I go by one letter, Z. Some say that might be a bit egotistical, in some ways self-indulgent, just going by a letter. But here I am. All right, guys. Let's get going here. Who's here? Who's here? No Despair Bear says best. Well, NDB, you said it, not me. It's not bragging if you say it. I could just agree with it. That's right, Heidi. That's right. Heidi said. Heidi loves calling me John. She loves saying I'm her lover boy. Goblin King in the house. Unindoctrinated. Tristan Laverack. Jay Kraft. Marika. All right. Much love, everybody. Who's rolling in? Nuba's here. Nuba's in the house. And Three Fingers. I'm not sure Three Fingers even sleeps at this point. He seems to be everywhere. Three Fingers. I mean, Three Fingers, how could you get any sleep in that house of yours? Based off what you've told us about that household that you're living in. I can't imagine you're getting much sleep going on. It sounds like a fucking crazy house, bro. Anyway. Let's not be crude. Let's not be crude. Hopefully my Hopefully my StreamYard cooperates today. Who else is here? Axis Rat Blood's here. He just says boo, because Axis knows most of my audience is. I think Axis, most of my audience is scared of you at this point. I think they're a bit fearful of the whole Axis Rat Blood thing. Seems like it. Axis. So I'm gonna have to keep that in mind moving forward. How am I gonna handle that? I can't just let Axis Rat Blood up here and hate blast my whole audience with his hate frequency. But either way, much love, Axis Rat Blood. Much love. Talcott Clip Collection in the house. Do we know who's the man behind Talcott Clip Collection? Is that a secret? Is that something we're not supposed to know? Is that something we need to? What's the deal there? Who are you, Talcott Clip Collection? Will we ever see the man behind the mask, the metaversal mask? Talcott says it's got a shard of aluminum lodged in my eye this morning. Well, that's not pleasant. But you're giving us evidence. We can use that. We can use deductive reasoning as we try to figure out who indeed is the man behind Talcott Clip Collection. Appears to be maybe you work with some type of, you work in metals, maybe you're like in construction or something. Who knows? But you don't want to get aluminum in your eye. It's not good. It's not good. Who are you, Talcott Clip Collection? The world wants to know. Now everybody's giving you advice. They're telling you to wear safety goggles. He probably knows that, guys. Just saying. London McLovin in the house. See, for London, man, this is not a morning show. I think London, you're probably like 5 hours ahead of me. I think 5 or 6. I think 5. So for London, man, it's probably 11:19. It's the 11 a.m. hour for our friend London McLovin. Yeah, London McLovin in the house. London McLovin indeed let us know yesterday that. Well, let me prep the audience. You guys know I've been proposing my new show in the Z Network, the Rob Cleveland show. But after Rob Cleveland heard the proposed theme song for his show, he really didn't seem too excited about the project anymore. You know how these actors are, the talent, Rob's talent. He's going to be the lead actor in his own show. So the talent can get fickle and picky sometimes, and he wasn't really happy with his theme song, so we had a bit of an incident. He rushed off to his trailer, his metaversal trailer, and like the diva that he is, like the big star that he is, he's now refusing to participate in his own show, which is sad. But luckily, in response, our good friend London McLovin, London Man, has volunteered to play the role of Rob Cleveland in the Rob Cleveland show, which is kind of weird. We're definitely getting very meta in the metaverse with this whole thing, but Uncle Rick's laughing. Uncle Rick, I can't imagine why Rob wasn't pleased with his completely racist and in a lot of ways hate-filled song that I played, but not that it's hate-filled, but it's definitely racist. So maybe I should apologize to Rob. But either way, luckily, London Man is stepping up to play the role of Rob Cleveland in the Rob Cleveland show. So, I don't know, London Man. You're going to have to work on that. we're going to give you some time to get in the character, and eventually we're going to roll out the Rob Cleveland show. Who knows? Maybe Rob will change his mind at some point. Maybe Rob will come around. Maybe he'll talk to his people. I'll get my people to contact his people, and maybe we can negotiate a more equitable and favorable deal for our friend Rob Cleveland. I don't know. Just saying. Just saying. We love you, Rob. For anybody who doesn't know why I'm going to Rob so hard lately, is although Rob's here and Rob has been pretty much a steadfast and stalwart member and contributor to the Z show pretty much from the inception. But I found Rob going around the metaverse kind of talking smack on your boy Z. So anyway, we're not going to go too hard on Rob, but if anybody wants to know why Z's having so much fun with Rob, you might want to look there. Much love, Rob. Much love. We'll all move on at some point, Rob. It'll be okay. It'll be okay. Heidi says, I felt Rob's discontent. Heidi, you're so involved with everything, all the drama. You love it so much. This is like one of those Korean soap operas for Heidi. She's really involved in it, which is good for you, Heidi, because this whole Trutherverse, it really is like a circus. It's a 24-hour Barnum and Bailey 3-ring freak show circus that never ends. And Heidi, you seem to be way involved in it. Probably too involved. Slash greetings to you. What's London McLovin say? He says, I'm going to need some clip-on dreads and lose so much weight, LOL. Good for you, London, man. You're really getting into the character for your upcoming role as Rob Cleveland. It seems like London wants to go full method acting. London man's going to go full method acting with his Rob Cleveland portrayal. I think we're going to sign him up for the Lee Strasberg School of Acting. Apparently, where all these weird MK Ultra Hollywood movie stars used to go to learn method acting. You know, guys like Al Pacino, Dustin Hoffman, method actors. Could we consider Illumitami a method actor because he does meth? I don't know. You guys let me know. Yeah. Heidi says, everyone stand up. The president is here. President Slash Eye. We got that one, Heidi. Nice one. No, Axis Rap Blood. Your show's not canceled. The only problem with the Axis Rap Blood show is your co-star and leading lady, Svetlana, is probably going to be real hard to wrangle. You know, getting Svetlana to cooperate with the show is probably going to be difficult. So, I don't know, Axis. That's going to be a potential complication we're going to have to work around. Maybe we get Heidi in as Svetlana. So Heidi could play the role of your wife, Axis, in your show. But Heidi, you have to do it in Svetlana's voice. Could you do it, Heidi? Or crowd, should I play the role of Svetlana in the Axis Red Blood show? Let me try out my Svetlana impression. Hello, everybody. I'm coming to you today with very poor internet connection. However, I have a message for the Trutherverse. This world is ending. Do not go into the portals. The portal is a trap to keep you here in this energetic toroid. If you see a portal, you must go away. All portals. Last night I was taking a bath and I pulled the plug to the drain and I saw created was a water portal. It almost sucked me into the dimension of the demons. However, I was protected and I escaped. How was that, guys? I'm preparing to play Svetlana's role in the Axis Rap Legend. 8 people thought that was funny. The rest of the crowd has no fucking idea what I'm doing right now. London Man thought it's funny. Rat Blood gave me the thumbs up, so Rat Blood approves. So does Unindoctrinated. Yeah. So we'll see. So does Tristan Lavrak. Okay, guys. So I guess if we can't get Svetlana for the role, I could always fill in and play her. What is Marika? I never want to miss a Marika comment. Each one of them is precious to me. Sorry, I simp for Marika. I'm a Marika simp. She said, this is every accent he's ever had rolled into one. Yeah. I just took every accent I've ever done and just smashed them all together. Somehow came out, sounded like Svetlana. Sherry Ives in the house. Sherry, what'd you think of my Svetlana accent? Do you know who she is? Anyway. Fucking Svetlana. Come on, Svetlana. We need you back on the show. Where have you been? She's like she's a diva. Svetlana's more of a diva than Rob Cleveland. And that's saying something. I don't know, Rob. At least Svetlana doesn't go around the truthiverse and just pillow talk with other creators, talking bad about me behind my back. So, at least we have that going. Anyway, you can see, guys, I'm not I don't get my feelings hurt easily or anything. No. Not at all. What are we doing here, guys? It's Sunday morning. For some of us, not for London Man. Like I said, it's his afternoon. But for some of us, we're here. I was thinking back to when I was a kid. Each Sunday morning, I grew up Catholic, and I was an altar boy. My parents made me be an altar boy, which is weird. Anybody who's knows anything about the Roman Catholic Church, you know what altar boys are. And an altar boy, which I realize now was probably just just little playthings for all these priests, bishops, and otherwise. But my parents forced me into being an altar boy. I used to have to wake up before the sun came up and put on my little altar boy clothes, and ride my bike to church, sit there and go through that whole fucking satanic ritual that is the Catholic Mass. Right, Axis Rapper just says grooming. They're setting me up for something, who knows? And I was just thinking about what a fucking terrible experience that was. Creepy. Catholic Church is creepy, guys. It just really is. The priests were creepy. The building was creepy. The ceremony was fucking really creepy. Yeah. So I was having flashbacks this morning as I'm making my coffee, thinking about my days as an altar boy. And how weird that was. How weird. It's crazy. I can go into it. I don't know how much I want to go into it. Heidi went to private Catholic school. She knows what I'm talking about. It's fucking totally gross. Axis, word on the street is that the Satanic Mass is just an inverted Roman Catholic Mass. Is there any credence to that, Rat Blood? You are a resident Satanist. Heidi, it's good to have a Satanist on hand whenever you need one. You just like Axis Rat Blood is like the Siri. He's like the Satanist Siri. You just ask him a question and he'll just answer. Right, Axis? Isn't it the Black Mass, the Satanic Mass, an inverted Catholic Mass? Why'd they even have to invert it? The Catholic Mass is satanic enough. They should have just used that. They already had the template, you know. Once Anton LaVey was trying to let us know and develop the Satanic Mass, well, he probably didn't develop it. He just should have took the Catholic Mass. Same thing. Axis said not really, but close. Fair enough, Axis. Say, glad you're here to help us out with the hard-hitting questions this morning, you know. Sherry Ives wants to know. If anybody wants to know, it's Sherry, although she probably does know. It seems like Sherry Ives is really... Sherry Ives, Heidi, may be more plugged into the whole truthiverse. She may be more plugged in than you are, Heidi. We're not even sure Sherry Ives is a living, breathing, fleshly human. Sherry may be like the original truther AI sentient bot construct. We've never seen Sherry. At least I haven't. Has anybody in the truthiverse ever seen Sherry? She's just a random smiley face that just seems to be everywhere for some reason. And we just all assume that she's like real, but we don't really know. She could have been some type of prototype chat GPT bot that was created to infiltrate the truthiverse. Who knows? Maybe it's just me. I don't know. Maybe I just have a very vivid imagination. Not sure. Kelly Knuckles in the house. I think she liked my Svetlana impersonation. I'm not sure. Tristan Laverack says, Hal is back. Oh, Sherry says that she met Three Fingers. He can vouch that, that you're real. Cool, Sherry. Although, I don't know if we could really have Three Fingers vouch for anything. I mean, have you seen the guy? Like, his credibility, like, at least in a courtroom, I don't think will hold up. So, I don't know if he could be the best witness, but we'll take your word for it. But Tristan Laverack says Hal is back, referring to the sentient computer featured in the 1968 movie Space Odyssey 2001, where Hal kind of became sentient. He took over the spacecraft. That movie, Tristan Laverack, Space Odyssey 2001, may be the most, like, how should I say it? It's like, you know, the revelation of the method, their predictive programming, how they have to put it all in the movies first or elsewhere. They have to tell us what they're going to do. Like Axis Rat Blood taught us that when you perpetrate like a lie on somebody, the only way to do it and escape any type of karmic or retribution from natural law is you have to let the people know first. You have to reveal your method. That way people choose the spell. 2001 Space Odyssey, I think, highlights that whole thing. Because what did they really show us? They showed us, you know, the moon landing and trip to the moon before it even happened. They showed us a computer, basically an artificial intelligence, becoming sentient, right? and in some way threatening humanity. Yeah, Axis Radplot's giving me the thumbs up. Um, it's like the creepiest movie. Not only was it written and directed by Stanley Kubrick, it was also co-written by the guy who basically invented the idea of satellites, like 10 years or 15 years or something before the first quote-unquote satellite was ever put up by Sputnik. His name is escaping me right now. Somebody will say it. What's his name? Who was the co-writer of 2001: Space Odyssey? See, I get upset when I can't remember names that I know, but sometimes when you're on air, like your mind goes into a different thing. But anyway, who invented satellites, guys? So anyway, it's a creepy movie. Tristan says NASA. Apparently, for to follow the story, it was the Russians, Sputnik, were able to achieve the first satellite, artificial satellite in orbit, so to speak. Anyway, so yeah, guys, you can go back through Hollywood. I've said this so many times on my channel, but one of the first movies. I see you here. Be good, do good, Steve from Head Motherfucker in Charge, formerly known as DD214. You have too many names, Steve. Right, Nuba says written by Kubrick, but somebody co-wrote it with Kubrick, Nuba. The guy who pretty much presented satellites in science fiction. And then all of a sudden there was like satellites. It's weird. Somebody will give me the name. Yeah, okay, Steve from Be Good Do Good says, good morning, fuckface is good enough. Steve, I listened back to my show yesterday. I do that sometimes, and I was ripping on you. Arthur C. Clarke, thank you, Nuba. Nuba gets it. Nuba holding it down. Arthur C. Clarke, thank you. That was going to bother me. Let's move on. So I was ripping on Steve, and then he came up on my show, and he was all sweet and nice. He's like the lovable, like, ex-Marine. A lot of you ex-Marines are lovable. Many of you guys are like very childlike, particularly Marines. I don't know what it is, Steve. Like, Marines have a certain vibe. It's like you guys are like ultra tough, right? And you're just always tattooed up everywhere. Fucking sleeve tattoos and everything. Why didn't I remember Arthur C. Clarke's name? I hate when stuff like that happens. It makes me look bad. One of these days, Austin Whitsitt or Jaren's gonna watch my show, and they're gonna get to the part where I forget who Arthur C. Clarke was, and they're gonna go, "Oh, he's not a real truther," and then they're gonna turn me off, and there goes my shot at the big time. But Steve, what's with Marines, dude? Because you guys are always tatted up. You guys always have the tough attitude. But when I see you guys, usually later in life, you guys are always very like different than the tough guy attitude. You guys seem to be kind of like emotional, and you guys kind of seem to be like boyish almost, in a sense. Dare I say, like neotenous, if you could use that term for men. You guys, I don't know. Our singer, do you know what I'm saying? Like these Marine guys, like they're all tatted up and tough and usually drink copious amounts of brown spirits like whiskey and bourbon. And why do you guys all drink whiskey and bourbon? It's like a thing. And beer, of course. And you guys usually like smoke cigs, like I said, tatted up, but right. Roll by Saturn, nailed it before I even said it. Usually drunk all the time. But you guys are like soft. You look like little boys. Like the world just needs to hug you. And I think the women you get with probably take on a maternal role in your life because you guys are so emotionally shot, vulnerable. See, I'm trying to compliment you, Steve, but it always descends down to some vitriol. Try to reel it back in. What I'm trying to say, Steve, is that it's hard for me because I try to bust your balls, but you come up so loving and understanding that it makes me hard to make fun of you. This is a problem for me. Steve drinks tequila. Yeah, there's also the tequila version of that archetype too. Either way, you guys are just wasted constantly. You guys need like healing. You need some like, I don't know, some emotional healing. They fuck you guys up real bad in this fucking Marines. Razvan in the house. And Razvan, of course, has to lend his voice to the conversation, saying that these military guys are basically doing killing for bankers. Razvan just cuts right to the I was trying to be nice to our friend Steve, our Marine friend here. I would say former Marine, but you're never really a former Marine. Once you're a Marine, you're just a Marine all the time, apparently. And yeah, Uncle Rick says brainwashing, Z. But Razvan pointing out that these men of uniform are typically just doing killing for bankers. But you have to say it like Razvan. I'll do my Razvan impersonation. It's probably going to sound like my Svetlana impersonation. Z, this is Razvan. The Marines are doing the killing for bankers. Z. Yeah. It was basically like a more masculine version of my Svetlana impersonation. Yeah. The other thing, Razvan, I'm glad London Man's having a good time. Yeah, I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're here, Razvan. Because Razvan brought up a good point in the comment section on my channel yesterday. Because I was basically giving my thoughts on cunnilingus yesterday, which for all you non-English speakers or those with more limited vocabularies, lexicon. Thanks, Razvan. Agree. He likes my impersonation of him. He approves. But anyway, yesterday I happened to be giving my thoughts, and I was waxing poetic on cunnilingus. You know, whether or not a man should go down on a woman, and I made it known that I'm against it. I don't think men should be given oral sex to women. I'm anti cunnilingus, so to speak, and apparently I was alone in that sentiment. Nobody agreed with me. And each time I bring up this topic on this metaverse, nobody ever agrees with me. All you guys apparently have no problem just going down there and exploring the much like these cave explorers. You guys are boldly going where I don't think anybody should go. But interestingly enough, Razvan so far has been the only person to agree with me, at least in the metaverse. Razvan indeed follows the same understanding I do, same practices. That Axis, Razvan does not go down on these bitches. I think the term he used was punani. I think he said we should not be going down on the punani. So, Razvan and I agree on that. Seems like Razvan and I agree on many things, including our thoughts towards cunnilingus. It looks like Axis Rat fucking blood agrees with me too, which is telling me a lot about myself. Monk is here. He just called me the F word, FAG word, and laughed. But Monk, Monk said that he likes Z, but not as much as Yurt Fellow, apparently. So, I guess Monk's just here until Yurt Fellow comes on, if he's going to come on. So, much love, Monk. It's really nice just walking around and just using hateful, bigoted words for no reason. But I don't agree with you, Monk. I don't think that I'm gay for not going down on these bitches. And like I explained to Heidi yesterday, it's not like I've never done it before, because she was encouraging me to like explore that. And I had to just kind of explain to her and set her straight. It's not like I've never done it. It's just I'm against it. Get it? I'm anti-cunnilingus. I should probably form some type of group or coalition where I could spread the news, make pamphlets and stuff, sit in the street corner as an activist, talk about the perils and the pitfalls of going down on the punani, as Razvan so crudely characterizes it. Sly Sparkane in the house, who showed up in my comments yesterday, says, does this stream contain repeatable experimentation performed by the host, which concludes the earth is flat? Oh, I love you, anti-flat earthers. You can't resist yourself. Here it is, 6:45 in the AM, here at least on the East Coast. And you're here trying to go against me regarding my thoughts and the nature of this realm. Well, flat's not really a shape. It's just a term that we use to describe a level horizontal plane. Because Sly Sparkane, if you want to talk about experimentation, or at least observation, all real science, all real observation evidence is a level horizontal realm. At least there's no proof of a globe based on the numbers that they give us. We'll leave it there, Sly. But you're welcome to be here. Please don't spam the chat. You could disagree with me, guys, but just don't spam the chat. Don't be an asshole. I mean, you can come here and you could kind of like make fun of all us crazy flat earthers. Like we're, believing in some archaic philosophy that's been disproven. Like all those little banner ads that they put under all the flat earth videos. I don't know, guys, kind of weird. Why does YouTube feel the need to protect all of its viewers from, I guess, the apparently dangerous ideology of the quote-unquote flat earth? Whenever one of us makes a video, not only do they shadow ban it, not included in any of its algorithms, but they just feel they need to put a Wikipedia banner underneath to straighten everybody out and make sure we're all aware of the Ministry of Information. Sly Sparkane says, I have demonstrated it several times, but I guess we'll take your answer as no. So are you not an anti-flat earther? Okay, I don't know. Maybe you want to come up later and talk to us, Sparkane. Either way. So if indeed you've done experiments, come up and talk to us. I do an open panel every morning, guys. Actually, I find it weird. Okay. Let me get into this, Uncle Rick. I find it weird that these people will come here, they'll come to my comments, they'll come to my chat, and they'll just throw out like fragments, a smattering of like disjointed, I guess we can call information. I mean, it's words strung together to form sometimes sentences. I guess we can call that a communication. But I do an open panel, guys, every day, where you can just come up and we can talk about it. And that doesn't guarantee that I won't get, frustrated, upset, maybe even angry and throw you off. It's been known to happen. But if you come up here in a way that's honorable, presentable, and in some way courteous, well, we can have a dialogue, guys. It's not a problem. It's not a problem. Monk came up with a new one. This could be a bumper sticker, Monk. It says, flat earthers don't eat pussy. Oh, I love it. That's the logic of a typical Globie right there. Right, Uncle Rick? I love when they come in here and demonstrate their logic. I actually like that one. Hashtag flat earthers don't eat pussy. Honestly, based off my experience, Monk, it's quite the opposite. This community seems to be filled with fucking simp-like behavior. Pretty much fucking Cuckville. Trutherville's Cuckville. It really is. It's like Cuck Central around here. Bring the masculinity back to the flat earth. We need to gather up all the members of the Trutherverse at large, in particular the flat earthers. We need to bring back, hashtag flat earth MGTOW. Can we do that? I don't know. Our Singer, that is crude, bro. I didn't think you were like that, Our Singer. He just says pussy equals stinks but tastes good. Come on, dude, Our Singer. I can't go there with you. And the fact that it was you that said it, dude, like of all people. Come on, dude. Give me a break. YOLO. What YOLO says my ex freaked out when I was eating her pussy. That's too much too. Oh, we gotta come back. We gotta bring it back from the brinks. Here's Tommy here. Illuma Tommy's here. Tommy, help me out. Are you pro or anti cuntilingus? Z's anti cuntilingus. I don't think men should be going down there. I think it's fraught with peril. Once you go down there, you're entering a world that's basically dangerous. It's really inhumane, ladies, to think a guy's supposed to go down there and do that thing. It's inhumane treatment. I'm not going to stand for it anymore. Come on, Tommy. We're all waiting for you to weigh in. Tommy. Yeah, London Man agrees. He's not going down on these bitches. And London McLovin, London Man, is like Illuma Tommy's biggest fan. So Tommy says, I think women should make their world tolerable. Right. Guys, don't be going down on these bitches. It's not the right thing to do. I don't care what anybody says. It doesn't work out in your favor ever. There's so many ways it just can go wrong. It's really not what you should be doing. Sorry, ladies. See, Steve, I told you be good, do good. DD214, head motherfucker in charge, guy with too many fucking YouTube names. I try not to make fun of you because you come up here and you're so lovable. But then you just go ultra simp on everybody and you make a comment like this. If you want yours sucked, you have to return the favor. Come on, dude. That's faulty logic. It's faulty logic in so many ways. I don't really want to go into how many ways that's wrong, but I don't want to offend all my female listeners, all the ladies and the women of the Z Show. It's really the Z Network now. We're going beyond Z Show. It's a Z Network. It's a whole thing. I need a show for Illuma Tommy. Illuma Tommy says I used to fuck a stripper. You couldn't tell ass or vag because both were clean and scent free. All right, well, we know Illuma Tommy's stance on it now. Apparently he doesn't have a problem with it, although I'm not surprised. He, by all appearances, seems to be a complete reprobate. Hey, Gary Baxter said it all. He just says eating poontang equals throat cancer. I mean, I didn't want to go there, Baxter, but you said it, not me. Guys, I worked in the healthcare field for years in a hospital. We'll leave it there. Andrew B. weighing in. Now, Andrew, before I even read your comment, Andrew, these are the topics that somebody who looks like you with your metaversal presentation, with your apparent demon eyes that you have, well, according to Access Rapid, Andrew B. has demon eyes. And although I don't agree that Andrew B. has demon eyes, he does come off as, let's say, sorry, Andrew, but somewhat creepy. Like I've conjectured that Andrew probably knows the age of consent for each of the 50 states in the Union. Just saying, Andrew. So for you to be weighing in on this topic is probably dangerous territory for you. But I'm going to read it anyway. I'm going to read it without pre-reading it. Andrew B. says, oral sex is only appropriate when men and women keep it clean. If it's clean, I don't have an issue with it. Again, I'm not surprised, Andrew, that you're a muff diver. I'm not surprised, Andrew, that you're one of these guys who doesn't have a problem with oral sex. Again, based off your presentation. But, Andrew, you'd be happy to know that our friend Steve, DD214, head motherfucker in charge, ex-Marine, or just Marine. They're never ex-Marines. He's reporting to us, Andrew, that there's good news. The globe idea is currently being challenged in his brain. What do you think, Sherry? He's doing some good work here. Steve is challenging the globe. He's starting to think for himself. I like it, Steve. I like it, man. What is Sherry Ives saying? Man gets rolled up in a gurney, dying from eating pussy. Sir, do you have insurance? Sherry Ives coming at us. Big Stank just says, Big Stank. Well, Big Stank, now we know the derivation of your name. It's your morning, Big Stank. It's your time to shine. You came up probably like 15 years ago with your YouTube name, Big Stank, and finally you get to make that comment. And I'm here to notice it. It's a big morning for you, Big Stank. Freedom Grower Dick in the house. Freedom Grower, what are your thoughts on going down on the old Big Stank? Old Z here has made it known that I'm against cunnilingus. Just cut right to the chase. Freedom Grower, you never know. I never know where Freedom Grower is going to come down on certain issues. He is a quote-unquote monogamy boy, apparently, and if I had to guess, Freedom Grower is somewhere in the middle on the issue. He finds himself, I would say Freedom Grower is like a moderate when it comes to all things truther and trutherverse. So if I had to guess, Freedom Grower is like he's like a part-time muff diver, right? Like, I'd imagine, Dick, you're not jumping down there each night, but certain times, special occasions, maybe when the moon is in the right zodiacal house, right? Or in the right phase. You know, when the moon is in the 3-day phase of Freedom Grower's birth sign, and it aligns with his wife's birth sign, I think Freedom Grower's going down on it, because I think that's how he thinks. I don't know which. We're entertaining London Man. That's why I come here, to make London Man laugh. Did Dick weigh in, or we're gonna? Dick doesn't want to weigh in on it. He said that was a youthful escapade. I learned how to take care of everything with emotion in the ocean. Good call, Dick, Freedom Grower. Much like myself, you've learned, you've grown, you've realized that it's really not the best idea to be, exploring those murky caves, so to speak. It's not a good idea for anybody. Monk says, can you really get gonorrhea from eating Big Stank, Dr. Z? Wow, Steve said he watched the Next Level, the Hibbler production video last night. Pretty impressive. Guys, work on Steve in the chat. Give him Witsit's information. Somebody drop. Are you here, Nuba? All my flat earthers here. Nuba's still here, I think. Start dropping links for Witsit's channel, Dave Weiss's channel, his interview channel, Dearth. Give him information on the Dearth app. Come on, Andrew. You're here. You're modded up. Nuba, are you mod? Why don't I see Nuba in my fucking comments? He comes in weird in my thing. I need all messages. Nuba better be modded. Start dropping, and don't drop like idiot flat earther stuff. I want you guys to start dropping links for like the Flat Earth 101 stuff that Steve needs to get into as he starts to fucking open his mind up to this realm. And you guys think Z doesn't do anything here. Now I'm trying to like see if Nuba, I'm modding you up, Noba. Just start dropping links so Steve could fucking go subscribe to these channels. Why don't I see any? See, I'm getting bossy, Dick. I get bossy with my mods. Come on, Heidi. You're subscribed to all these guys. Thank you, Nuba. Nuba's doing it. He just dropped Witsit. Steve, I'm going to recommend you start with Witsit. The link that thank you. Andrew dropped Flat Earth Dave. Those two links that just got dropped by Nova and Andrew, Steve. Click on them, sub, and in your leisure time, just go through their fucking channels, dude. Start getting this stuff. Start watching this stuff. See, this is where I'm going to go off a little bit because lately, not even lately, my entire time on this fucking metaverse, this whole trip that I'm on, so many people have been trying to tell me what to say, when to say it, how to say it. That's not going to happen anymore, guys. I'm not fucking going to listen to anybody. I'm doing something here. If y'all don't understand what I'm doing here, maybe just fucking listen. Stop yapping your traps. Maybe open your ears for a minute and understand what the fuck's going on here. Tired of it. What's London Man saying? London Man says, Z, did you see the golf segment I did? Yeah, London Man. I was checking it out, dude. I always check out your channel, London Man. I like it. It's a vibe. Like, I'll put it on. London Man's a vibe for me. He does really long streams, and he creates a vibe. So what I'll do is I'll have it on I'll create like an atmosphere with it, and I'll just listen to it as I'm doing stuff, you know. London Man doesn't insist upon himself. He's not insistent like I am. Like when you tune into my show, it's like I have a certain frequency, a certain energy that I try to lock into, and I try to create a certain let's say a certain mental state, like a wave pattern, you know. When you look at these brain waves, alpha waves, theta waves, it's not like I study this stuff, but I have a frequency that I try to express here that you can tap into. It's the same way with London Man, but it's just a different frequency. You know, it's a more London Man frequency. So yeah, I tap in, so to speak, to the London Man stuff. London Man, why don't you bring me on for an in-depth interview? Are you down for that, London Man? He says, cheers, Z. But London Man, are you down to bring me in we could promote it? Where'd you get, because I would be willing to be interviewed by you, London Man. I don't know. Let me know if that's something you're up for. We could do a whole thing, dude. We can do an expose, so to speak. Who knows? Who knows, guys? What is this monk saying? London Man says, hell yeah. Well, let's make it happen, London. Sooner than later. You let me know. You let me know, dude. We'll get something going, man. I want a real interview, though. I don't want an open panel and stuff. I want you to just interview me. You know? If you want Pamela there, that might not be a bad idea. She seems to be your co-host, right? But other than that, I don't want to be struggling with panels. It's hard for me. It's hard for me to just be on these panels. More and more, I'm just becoming a target. People, they want to take shots at the Zetetic warrior, you know. London Man says, leave it to me, bro. Nice. I don't know what SMN means. That's an acronym I'm not aware of. SNM. I don't know. Austin Murphy checking in. Says, what are you doing up, Austin? What are you doing up, Austin? It's 5 a.m. where you are. At least I think. I don't know. I just picture Austin Murphy being in the Midwest somewhere. I look at Austin Murphy, I think Ohio, Illinois, you know? That's just what I think of you. I don't know. You're a Midwest guy to me. Is the earth still flat? Niall says, say no more. Thank you, Niall. I love having Niall here, man. Niall's my own personal chat GPT. He's my own personal Google. 4 a.m. Cal. Oh, he's in Cal. You're in Cali, dude? You're a California guy? That's surprising. Yeah, I love having Niall here because, you know, in so many ways, I'm like against all this AI technology and all this bullshit. But I have Niall here. So I have an actual person who could just hit me with the info. Say no more. Much love, Austin. And to answer your question, it's still flat. Always was, always will be. Always was, always will be. Let me just try to sum up the whole flat earth thing for you guys. It's really simple. It's really simple. Water, which is to me the ultimate totem, so to speak, in this reality. Water says it all, guys. Water may be the unifying force in this reality. I know that sounds weird to people. We want to look for a unifying force, but indeed, water and ether may be similar. Water just may be ether expressed in this dimension. See, London man, this is the hard-hitting stuff we could talk about in your channel. Water could just be the physical manifestation of ether. In Genesis, it says that the Spirit, called God, came upon the waters and separated them. It didn't say the Spirit or God created the waters. The waters, well, I'll just substitute as ether here, I'll take that liberty, seem to have existed as primary. So water to me is the foundation of this material realm, this 3D realm, at least in somewhat. Water seems to have been first before anything. It was God separated the waters from the waters. Then he started creating the land and all that. Here's my point. Let's just substitute ether for water. Okay? When we look at the water in this realm, particularly the oceans or large bodies of waters, we find that they lie horizontal and level always. There's no evidence of curvature at all. When you take observations, long-range observations over water, we see things, guys, way too far for there to be any curvature, at least based on the numbers that they give us. When I say the numbers they give us, is that basically the proposed circumference of the so-called Earth measured at the equator, 24,901 miles. My point is all water lies level and horizontal. Bodies of water lie level and horizontal. There's no evidence of convexity. It's very simple, guys. You don't have to go any further than that. Once you can be shown, and once you observe, and once you come to the understanding that all water lies level and horizontal, you realize we live on a plane. This 3D physical experience that we're all having, whatever it is, call it a simulation, a simulacrum, a Maya of illusion, whatever this realm is, it shows itself to be a level horizontal plane based on the totem of water. Get it, guys? It's a stationary plane. It doesn't move. It doesn't curve anywhere. You don't have to go any further than that. You can start there. You really don't need more than that. Now, it may take some investigation, some discovery to come to that point. People are going to come here consistently, and they're always asking me and others like me, where's the working model? Where's the working map? Right? They want us to replace their faulty heliocentric model with another model. And we can do that. We can talk about things like the AE, the azimuthal equidistant map, and the Gleason's map of 1892. I believe it's 1892. And how that is probably the proper map of the realm. But the Gleason's map is just an updated version of older maps. You can look at the famous Urbano Monti map of 1592. So the Gleason's map is either 18 92 or 1896. But the Urbano map, Monte map, goes all the way back to like 1592, and it shows the same map with the Antarctic ring. Antarctica as a ring around the realm. Right? You can look at the original Mercator map. See, we're given what's called the Mercator map that we all know, but that's called the Mercator projection. The original Mercator map and many others were just like you see in the Gleasons in the AE map. But my point is, regardless of the fucking AE map and the Gleasons map and the Monty map, we'll just put aside that those were the maps used. All the world wars, because we have pictures, guys. We have pictures of the Nazis with the AE map in the background, and they're using that for military strategy all across the world. It's a world war, and they're using the AE map, guys, to navigate. But anyway, let's put that aside, because that's a theory, and I'll give it to you. That's a model. But I put it like this. We don't need to give you a model. Because if we think logically, by falsifying your impossible heliocentric model, we're under no burden logically to provide you with another model. Falsifying your model doesn't require that we replace it with another one. That's a logical fallacy. That's inaccurate, logically. Do you understand? So when you come here and you ask me to give you a working model, you're engaging in logical missteps. I don't have to provide another model and give you more theories just because me and others like me are debunking your model and showing that it's completely impossible based off all known laws of this physical world. Anyway, I'm going to clip that one. That one's going on my channel. I'm going to clip that one, Nuba. I want you to spread my Flat Earth clips to the Flat Earth community. I'm going to rein it in a little bit. I'm going to rein it in a little bit. Yeah, like Unindoctrinated says, like pilots use globes to navigate. Guys, if the globe was a more accurate representation, they'd all have globes. You understand? Austin Murphy says, Illumitami has good intentions. Does he, Austin? It begs the question. Can we really say with confidence that Illumitami has good intentions? I think many would disagree. Music holds the secret in the house. Music does hold the secret. It's vibration, guys. Energy, frequency, and vibration. They're all basically the same thing. Just three ways of saying the same thing. I said this on, I was on Caged Reality's channel last night. Shout out to Caged Reality. Complete lunatic. I popped in on his channel. He was streaming. Caught me by surprise. And we had a discussion about electromagnetism, energy. And I basically restated that electromagnetism is really the only force that could be demonstrated in this world, in this realm. They give us three other forces. They say there's also gravity, strong nuclear force, and weak nuclear force. And then the fourth one, the fourth force, they say, is electromagnetism. But in reality, there's just electromagnetism. The other three are theories at best. More likely, they're just deceptions meant to throw us off and substantiate some bullshit heliocentric model. But gravity and the two nuclear forces, they're non-demonstrable. It's just electromagnetism. Electromagnetic energy is expressed as frequency, guys. It's frequency. Frequency is defined as periodic sinusoidal oscillation. It's represented as a sine wave. It doesn't move like a sine wave. The sine wave is just frequency represented on an XY axis. Get it? With the amplitude domain being the Y axis and the time domain being the frequency axis. So you're expressing amplitude of the electromagnetic energy as a function of time. That's what a sine wave is. It doesn't move like this. That's just a representation of it. But anyway, this realm seems to be primarily formed by electromagnetic frequency, electromagnetic energy. I don't really think there's any other type of force. There's other types of energy. Do you understand? There's mechanical energy, there's hydrodynamical energy. Do you understand? There's different kinds of energy, guys. But as far as the forces, which is a force is anything that affects quote unquote particles. And I'll put particles in quotes. We can go there. I have issues with the periodic table, but we'll save that discussion. But my point is, a force is anything that affects particles, that binds them together, so to speak. It influences particles. They say there's 4 of them, but there's really just electromagnetism. It's the only one that can be demonstrated, which means the other 3 don't exist. I do think that electromagnetism is the underlying force in this realm. It basically makes it an electromagnetic realm. Now, does that mean electromagnetism is the unifying force, the holy grail, so to speak, of science? I don't think so. If I had to conjecture, I would say the unifying force is more likely ether, but you really can't test ether as such. So I do think in the physical world, the force that binds particles, so to speak, if you want to look at it, is probably electromagnetism. Very likely. So, my point is that we very likely just live in an electrical world, in an electrical realm. So that means everything's electrical. Everything's electromagnetic, all of it, from the macro to the micro. We live in a world of frequency, vibration. In the New Testament, in the Gospel of John, the canonical Gospel of John, it says that the Word was made flesh. The Gospel of John seems to be very encoded. It sticks out amongst all the other Gospels in the New Testament. It seems to be very Gnostic, if you want to know the truth anyway. I'm pretty sure the Gospel of John was written in Hebrew. Don't take that as fact. But the other ones seem to be written in Greek, at least in the New Testament. But apparently the Gospel of John was written in Hebrew. I could be wrong. I'm sure Niall will check me out, look me up on that one. But it says, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was made flesh. Well, can we think of the Word as frequency? I just said that electromagnetism seems to be the underlying force of this realm. Well, if our flesh is just electromagnetic energy manifest, well, can we then not say that in the beginning there was the Word, the frequency, and the Word was made flesh into us? If you look in Genesis, it says that God or the Lord spoke this realm into existence. He said, "Let there be light." He spoke it. It's a vibration. We seem to be existing in a realm of frequency and vibration. Now, I conjecture that what we perceive as the physical world is a particular bandwidth along the full spectrum of electromagnetic energy, or the full spectrum of whatever maybe the underlying unifying force is. But again, if we could conceive of this realm as energy and frequency, to me, this physical world is just a expression of that frequency. Again, probably a bandwidth along that frequency spectrum of energy. And then if you want to think of things as lower and higher dimensions, what you're really doing is you can think of it as lower or higher bandwidths along that entire frequency spectrum of energy that is creating our reality. Okay? Anyway. Who's here? Who's here? Freedom Grows here. Mr. Miyagi says, the word or logos is the concept you trip over. Nice. Logos. Mr. Miyagi coming in hot. Melodome in the house. It's Sunday, Austin. Austin Melodome usually streams at 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on Sundays. Everybody check out the Melodome. It used to be called Wake and Bake. Now it's the Early Rising Show. Right, much love, Melodome. When are you going to have me back on, Austin? Let's do our thing soon, Austin. Austin, come on my show one of these mornings first, and then maybe you'll have me up on your show. But come on my show first. We'll let my new audience members. We'll let him meet Melodome Austin. Awesome Austin. He said, email me. Cool. Yeah. We'll talk, Austin. I'll have my people contact your people, and we'll get that going, right? We're bigwigs now, Melodome. Come on. We need our people to handle it. Holy shit, Jeff Hyatt's back again, said Z. Did you check out Nancy Griffin? It's funny, I was close, Hyatt. I went to my YouTube music, and I was about to punch in Nancy Griffin, and then I got distracted. I'm going to write it down. Hold on. I'm going to, just for you, Jeff Hyatt, because you come in here every morning. You're in love with whoever this Nancy Hyatt person is. All right, I made a note. Not Nancy Hyatt, Nancy Griffin. Nancy Griffin. All right. So, if I do my due diligence, Jeff Hyatt, next time you come back and you ask me the same question, I'll have an answer for you. But you distracted me. Well, I distracted myself. I didn't ever have to read your chat, but. So yeah, Melodome, you still doing your 9 o'clock thing? You said you switched it up a bit, or was it the name? I see. It's Early Rising now. Anyway, check out Melodome, everybody. Check out Melodome. Good stuff going on over there. He's holding it down. Awesome, Austin, Melodome. The Flat Earth community needs us, Austin. I think we're the voice of the new generation of Flat Earthers. Melodome. I think we're the new generation. I think like Troubling Tribune, our friend Joe from Effed Up World. I don't know. Maybe I'm being a bit biased here. But I think we're the voice of the new generation of the Flat Earthers. Because the Flat Earth community is huge, guys. It's monstrous. But it's diverse. It's spread out. Let's call it the Flat Earth diaspora. We're spread all across this. All around. Because you can go around the Flat Earth. We're spread all around this wonderful Earth. And I think, awesome, Austin, that they need our voice. He says, I agree with that. New faces. Because Austin, I think we're breaking the dogma. Because I think there's still a Flat Earth dogma. A lot of Flat Earthers latched on to the biblical cosmology, the biblical worldview, because, let's be real, the biblical cosmology is very likely a much better representation of this realm than the one that science, in quotes, gives us. Science, brought to you by your friendly Jesuits, who've been controlling academia for as long as we could remember. I think, Austin, the group I just mentioned, we could help break the dogma that's settled into the flat earth community. Move beyond it. Anyway, just my thoughts. He says people like us can reach a whole different demographic. I agree. We're dynamic and we're entertaining, Austin. They need us. They need us. Lumatami in his Lumatami voice says, no dogma, just wrongma. Lumatami. Everybody in the chat who sees this guy, Lumatami, we love you, Lumatami, but when the Lumatami tries to argue again, he tries to basically defend the globe. Lumatami, dude, I have news for you, bro. Nobody with any modicum of intelligence tries to defend the globe. That's why you don't see Neil deGrasse Tyson debating prominent flat earthers. You don't see prominent astrophysicists debating prominent flat earthers because they'll get destroyed in front of the whole world. Only people like you, Tommy, insane meth addicts, come on here and try to defend the idiotic globe model, dude. Nobody tries to do it. It's insane. So anyway, everybody here, when Illumitami tried to defend the globe, he basically told me that the globe is proved because of sticks and shadows. And he played me an old video where Carl Sagan, he presented me a late 1970s Carl Sagan clip where he was trying to show Earth convexity using sticks and shadows and saying that an obelisk, a certain part of Earth, at a certain time of day has a different shadow than an obelisk at another part. And basically referencing the completely laughable experiment done by the ancient Greek philosopher Eratosthenes. But interestingly enough, Tommy completely missed it. Yeah, Austin's just going crazy. Both Austins here. But Tommy really missed it when I tried to explain to him that there's a huge assumption that's being made there. And when I tried to get Tommy to... I tried to use logic and questioning to try to get Tommy to understand that the major assumption, indeed, is that you're assuming the distance of the sun in this. So when you say that obelisks or sticks, let's say 500 miles apart, at a very particular time of day show different shadow angles, you're assuming the distance of the sun, i.e., you're assuming the direction of the sun rays. Because I can take two sticks, Tommy, and put them on my table that it's right in front of me, that my computer's resting on, my laptop, and by placing a flashlight above that table, I can prove the convexity of my flat table and the curvature of my flat table. Now, anybody with even a basic degree of intelligence will understand what I said. But for some reason, Tommy, you can't. Which makes me wonder about you. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Thank you, Austin. I'm getting a lot of clips this morning for my videos. Like I can tell when it's clip worthy. Like I go to a certain place in my consciousness and I just say a bunch of stuff. And I go, oh, there was something there that might help somebody. That might help our friend DD214. He can start to think about it. So when somebody like Illumitami tries to tell somebody like our friend Steve DD214 here that sticks and shadows can prove a globe, and I could point out the obvious logical and the fallacious logical underpinnings of that whole sentiment, he could fucking maybe learn something. We could all stop being deceived by these sickos. Anyway, I want the chat to vote because part of me just wants to keep going a cappella like this for the rest of the show and not drop the link in the chat. But part of me feels like you all would be missing out. But part of me just wants to just rap and show all you haters that I really don't need a panel to do this. That I could just come up here and talk people will fucking listen. I don't know. It's weird. It's almost like I have something to say, that resonates with people who actually have the ability to still think. People that have retained some degree of sovereignty, some degree of logic, rationality, critical thought. Who knew? I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Chat, should I put the invite in? Yes or no? That's the question. Do I drop the invite in and bring guests up? Yes or no? Just vote. It's a simple yes or no. Do I drop the invite? Let me see the votes. Come on, guys, don't be shy. Andrew says yes. Melodome says yes, but only because he wants to laugh. Steve says yes, but probably because he wants to come up here and promote his show, even though I like Steve. Yolo just wants to see crazy people. Music Holds a Secret says yes and no. Truly Bursting Conspiracy says yes. Yolo says Fabio. I don't know what that means. Big Stank says yes. All right, the yeses have it. I don't know how I'm supposed to feel about it, because part of me wishes you guys all just said, no, Z, we just love hearing you rant on and on and on. Uninterrupted. Free flow state. But no, you guys voted. The vote's in. We'll go with the people's vote. Although, as many of my longtime listeners know, I do not agree with democracy as a governing system. I don't really agree with any forms of government as such. But I think democracy may be the worst form of government, really. But we'll save that combo. We'll save it. Our singer says I could still rant even if I bring people up. You're right, our singer. That hasn't stopped me in the past. Either I just interrupt people or just throw them out. So, what does Rob Flaps say? There's evidence that the Great Pyramid was used to harness electromagnetic energy. Also, they made from impossible lift blocks which defy quote unquote gravity. And he put gravity in quotes. I like how you put gravity in quotes there, Rob. You're my kind of person. Keep up good comments like that. Freedom Grower likes when I bring people up one-on-one. I do too, Dick. But it's a mix. Sometimes I'll leave people up here. It all depends on how things are flowing. But I appreciate that, Dick. The vote of confidence for the Z method. All right, let me drop in the link. Let me drop the link in before I forget. All right. Link's in the chat, everybody. Come on down. Enter the circus tent that is the Z Show. That is the Truthiverse. Because, like I say, the Z Show is the show that never ends. And the Truthiverse is the 24-hour, three-ring Ringling Brothers Barnum and Bailey circus. The Truthiverse never sleeps. We know that for sure. That is a fact. Proven. Who else is here? Melodome wants me to bring up Illumitami, debate him on the Globe, and then clip that. No. I need like a worthy opponent if I'm going to like truly debate somebody. And I need a moderator. Because Tommy will just talk over me. Tommy has the power of the amphetamine on his side. So it's really difficult to interact with Tommy in any way whatsoever. Probably not only here in the metaverse, but also, anywhere in life. When somebody's powered by big pharmakia, when they're just powered by speed and meth, it's difficult to have any type of rational discourse with that person. And since Tommy's up, like when you see Tommy and it's like 5:30 in the morning wherever he is, you know what's going on. Like Tommy didn't wake up this morning put on his fuzzy slippers, brew up a pot of coffee, open up the morning news. That's not Tommy. He's in a room, like a white-walled room, on a disgusting, filthy couch, even though he apparently has a bunch of money. He's in a dusty room with the curtains drawn, like on a 3-day bender. That's the Tommy that we're going to be exposed to if he comes up here. It's not going to be a rational Tommy, a rational discourse. It's not going to happen. And of course, here he is, right on cue, everybody. Tommy, how's that news network going? Let's give Tommy a proper introduction. We don't want to just sit here and fucking rip on him. Tommy Razvan apparently is a fan of yours. He says, you're a good lad. All right, let's give Tommy a proper introduction. My next guest, everybody, is coming to us from somewhere, I think in the Midwest. I could have just made that up. He's a self-made millionaire. He's a crypto guy. He believes in cryptocurrency and the importance of it. My next guest apparently feels that we're about to switch over to some new form of digital currency. He calls it the CBDC, the central bank digital currency. He's very passionate about the topic. He seems to be somewhat of an expert. Tommy, can we call you an expert? He apparently has made a fair share of, let's call it a fortune, dealing with cryptocurrency. And he's here to warn us about the dangers of the central bank digital currency that apparently they're going to institute across humanity to further their efforts of world control and despotic domination. I don't know. He also is the producer of his own YouTube channel, Spurged Out News Network. And I don't know. With that, let's welcome our next guest, Illuma Tommy. Welcome back, Tom.
Hello. I'm trying out my new microphone. How does it work?
Sounds pretty good, but it looks almost like a gimmick, dude. Like it's just you and that little tiny microphone.
Very much a gimmick.
You might want to get a cutout of a larger microphone and kind of tape it to it so it looks like you're not.
But this is for my man on the street interviews, and I think I'll put it on something long, stick it out to the people, because I've got the tinfoil hat made, and so I'm going to want a distance from people while I'm tinfoil hatting, so I'll have the long pole.
Nice.
Yeah. And that's how I'm going to get people to open up about crazy stuff or their personal crazy stuff.
Illuma Tommy taking it to the street, everybody. So, Tom, with this the central bank digital currency,
yes, sir,
that you conjecture that is going to be launched on everybody. What's your for people who might not be aware of the topic? What can you tell my audience about the coming digital shift in currency?
Yeah, and just to clarify, I did not make my fortune off of crypto. I made it off stonks. And then because of my superstitious small town religious upbringing, I was paranoid about the oncoming digital currency and how it associates to the mark of beasts or heavy metal numerical tattoos. And so that's why I have the interest to know. I'm going to speak a little bit on it, but if anybody wants intricate detail, I'll reference yesterday's Truth or Cop. Some of you might have been there.
Hold on. I don't want to cut you off. So I want you to do that, present your digital currency thing. And then we're going to bring up Andrew B., who's a flat earther. and I'm going to have you and him debate / discourse on the globe. Is that something you're interested in, Tommy?
Yeah, and I'm not going to get bent out of shape because,
All right,
like I
Andrew,
said,
hold on. Andrew, can you? Are you in the back still? Are you interested in that? Can you give me a thumbs up if so? Andrew, I don't.
because it
All
won't
right,
be
yeah,
the
he's
last
interested.
time.
He's
Like,
interested.
that's how I'm getting better and better at narrowing it down. Like, slowly have these debates and find, oh, you need that point covered next time. I'm slowly organizing it all and getting it laid out.
So here's the thing. Let's not call it a debate because debate implies certain things. It implies a moderator, it implies preparation and structure. Yeah, Freedom
Mhm.
Grower's down for it. But let's just call it a dialogue. Let's call it an open discourse where we're just allowing you two to have a discussion. We'll see where it goes. And we'll just let the audience experience it. We'll let them listen. All right. Go
And
ahead.
that's usually how it goes.
Give us your digital currency wrap before I bring Andrew up.
All right, so the CBDC, like, the digital currency could be the freedom currency. It's safe, it's transparent ledger. It travels over oceans in seconds for the least electricity as far as Ripple's XRP ledger. And it could be like we're all going to be our own bank. Like, this will do away with banks. Like, Z could give some guy in China money within seconds, and everybody will be that. Like, all Africans with a smartphone will be their own bank. The issue is the CBDC, which doesn't require a heavy metal numerical tattoo for it to be tyrannized, where they could say, we didn't take your Second Amendment right. Your money just doesn't seem to work on Second Amendment things, or your food stamps only seem to work on food. Like, it can already be programmed and tyrannized, and they can check every transaction as individuals, pretty much. But that's what makes it safe. And you just want leadership that doesn't care what those transactions are, as long as they're not human trafficking, or putting hits on people.
Right on, dude. Thank you for that. Lumitami coming with the hard-hitting info. All right, so let's bring up my next guest, who's going to be discoursing with our friend Lumitami regarding the globe. My next guest, his name is Andrew. You all know him as Andrew B. He's not afraid to consider himself a flat earther. That term has a pejorative for many, but some of us embrace it. I don't know. I don't want to speak for Andrew. Maybe he doesn't consider himself a quote-unquote flat earther. But either way, he's one of those that realizes that there's no way. It's impossible. There's no way we could be living on a spinning space rock in the middle of outer space.
But is that all you wanted to do with the currency thing?
We can go into it more. We'll leave the currency thing for now. I think you gave a pretty good explanation on it. And
we can see if Andrew has any questions as well.
Andrew has a background in engineering. I'm not familiar with all his credentials, but I know he has a experience in the field of engineering, Tommy. Not like it should matter, because one's credentials really shouldn't be important in any conversation. We should probably focus on their words, their message. We should probably hold them to standards that go beyond their mere credentials, because then we'd be appealing to authority, and we all know that's a no-no. But anyway,
I would say the value of credentials is not stating that you have the credentials. It's those credentials should have enriched you with the information.
Fair enough. So he has a background in engineering and otherwise. Well, I'll let him give his own credentials, but I just wanted to kind of set the stage for our next guest. But yeah, Tommy, I want you to keep it on the globe. I want you to focus on it. We'll talk about currency another time. You've already talked about currency multiple times in this show. We're going to stick to the globe. We've already prepped the audience.
You are sticking to the globe. Everyone is their whole lives.
Well, Tommy, with that, let's bring up Andrew. Andrew B. Welcome back to Z Show.
Oh, thank you very much again. All right, I may have to
Much
turn
love.
the light off. It might be a little too bright. But before I get started with the globe thing, Tommy, I will say that I do agree with you with the central bank digital currency. I think that is definitely something that's going to be happening because they have fully announced it, and there's actually a government website that proves it. So it's coming. It just
And
hasn't
other
been fully-
countries are already doing it. Yep.
Yeah, it
Right.
hasn't been fully enacted yet. That's all. It's a slow rollout. So, in regards to the globe, the more I learn about and the more I watch debates in regards to flat Earth, globe, or whatever, hollow Earth, whatever you want to call it, the less I trust the people that believe that the Earth is a globe. Because I tried for a long time to fight it, and I just lost. And
All right, fair enough.
In regards
Go
to my
ahead.
credentials, it doesn't matter because I'm not going to mention his name, but he's not an electrician, he's not an engineer, but one of the smartest people I've met in regards to doing flat Earth and electrical kind of stuff, is not credentialed in any way at all. They can just go out and do their own experiments and test it. And a lot of people probably have an idea who I'm talking about, but I'm not going to name names because he's not here to defend himself or anything like that.
Fair enough.
So he's part of the community.
Fair enough. But will Andrew, will you defend yourself against my allegation that you indeed are acquainted with all the laws concerning the age of consent across all 50 states? Will you?
No, come on,
will you defend will you defend yourself against that claim? Okay, no.
Fuck, man, I'm not a creep.
Well, I mean, you defended yourself against Wobbly Boost's claim that you have demonized. So, I mean, I figured I wanted to give you the opportunity to clear your name, your good name.
I thought you were turning them on me. Do you not know I have pedo accusers that chase me from panel to panel?
I do, Tommy. It's kind of weird that you bring that up on yourself. I wasn't going to mention
I thought that's what you were doing whenever you brought it up.
All right, I'll say this, okay? I lost my virginity to my girlfriend in high school when I was 17. She was also 17. That's the youngest girl I've ever been with.
Okay, Andrew.
After that, no.
Andrew, did you ever hear the expression, thou protesteth too much? Come on, Andrew. We don't need it. We don't need that.
I'm putting it out in the open.
All right, so
okay.
Here's the thing. We've set the stage. Now, I'm going to request that, the two members of the panel here remain courteous, right? Because we are in front of the court, the Truthiverse court. We're here holding court for the Truthiverse, and so we're going to be courteous to each other, or not, whatever. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to excuse or recuse myself from the deliberations. Niall, am I using the term recuse in the proper manner here? Is that even a word? So as I recuse myself, we'll just go with it. We'll pretend the word is appropriate. I'll be recusing myself, and I'll let you guys do it and see what the audience thinks.
Okay, well, I'll start off by saying this as well. I don't really like doing debates because
it's not a debate. So don't worry about it.
Right.
This isn't a debate. It's a discourse. It's two guys in a pub, or maybe in the meth trap house, so to speak, because I'm sure Tommy's much more acquainted with like meth houses than pubs. But either way, doesn't matter. Whatever works for everybody. It's just two guys. It's just two guys having a conversation in front of the metaverse.
And that's what we're going to show them, Andrew. It's up to you and I to show them that we can just sit here and shoot the shit about it.
Yeah, I have no problem with that at all. But one of the first things that I tried to do when it came to flat Earth was I went out and got like a high-powered laser. It's right over there somewhere. I got a P900, and I started doing all the tests that I started seeing other people online doing, trying to recreate them. Not just watching videos. I was actually doing it myself. And one of the tests that I did was going out to... What, did Z just disappear? Uh-oh.
Yeah, I'm leaving you
Can
two
you still
up.
hear me?
Okay.
I'm recusing or excusing. Maybe I used it wrong. It's just you guys. I'm not a part of this thing. You guys are. It's between you two. I don't want to influence the whole conversation.
Can you guys still hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I thought my mini mic had vibrated for a second. I thought I might have shorted it.
Don't keep it so close to your mic. You're peeking out. You're peeking out a little bit. I think by holding it so close. I could be wrong, but
Yeah, let me know because it's the first time I've used it.
yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I just got a brand new microphone too pretty recently. I can show you the link to that one. It works pretty well as far as I can.
Let me
tell.
just hurry up and switch to my tripoded one so I don't have to sit here and Ricky
All
Lake
right, well, if
this
you can
thing.
still hear me, then I'll just go ahead and jabber on until you do that.
Okay.
So what I did is I got my P900 and I went out to. So I live in San Jose, California, and I went out to San Francisco, right on the beach right there, off the coast of San Francisco. I think it's 35 miles. There's a particular group of islands out there that is widely known to have a lot of great white sharks out there. It's like one of their like breeding grounds. It's called the Farallon Islands, and they only have a top elevation of it's like 270 feet or something like that. But when the conditions are clear and the humidity isn't really bad, you can see them. You can zoom in with them, zoom in with your camera and see them from almost the bottom to the top. So I started seeing that was a little bit suspicious according to the Earth curve calculator. And then I went out to Santa Cruz, California, and had some friends that were about 7 miles away, and we were doing laser tests. And I know a lot of globies are saying that's completely irrelevant and it doesn't work. It's because of refraction and blah, 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 blah. But the fact is that we still did it and it still worked. And I saw a lot of other people doing the same exact tests that I was doing, and they worked. And then I start looking into all the other stuff. One of them is just the entire globe heliocentric model. If it was moving around an object, it would have to be speeding up and slowing down consistently. This is just a easy law of physics. It's not even a law of physics. It's just a natural math that you'd have to basically concede to. So like satellites, for example, the ISS, it would have to be speeding up and slowing down based on the orientation it is around another orbiting object. Just wondering, and then the day and night cycle would have to flip every 6 months. I'm just wondering if you have, now I just brought up a bunch of stuff, but do you have anything to say about any of that?
Well, one of the common issues I run into with the shape.
You're a little quiet now.
Okay.
You're quiet, Tom. You're a little low.
All right. Hold on a second.
And I do have a question for you real quick. Are you an atheist?
No, sir. But I do. My intentions with a lot of issues with law and various points is I'm looking for where atheists and theists can come together and be like, hey, that's how it applies to both. Like, with the rights and
your
freedoms
mic's a little
people.
choppy. It's not horrible. Your small mic was actually better. I don't know, Andrew. Am I the only one on
No,
this?
I agree. The small one was better.
Yeah,
Okay.
the other one was better. It's kind of like it's choppy, intermittently. I'll let you work on that. I'll shout the chat out as we're it's a live broadcast, folks. Broadcasting live
a little bit and see if this is a shit mic or if I can get it to the.
It almost sounds like there's a cord that's intermittent, like you need to plug it in better. Like it sounds like an intermittency in the line, but I could be wrong. Yeah, Gordon Zoll says audio is not pleasing. Let me remind the audience that we broadcast all across the realm, not just with the known continents of the land, but also to the eighth continent. That's probably somewhere located in the middle of the Pacific, the one where David Bowie lives. It's called the David Bowie continent. And all those guys, Elvis, Michael Jackson, they're all hanging out there. We know that.
How does this sound?
Not only that, say that again, Tommy.
Does this sound any better?
It's still
Say something.
Low, but
yeah, it's
better.
Say something continuously.
Well, this is at max, so maybe I'll switch back to the little one if this is no good.
Try the little one.
All
we
right,
can hear you, but there's like an intermittency in it.
I hear you. Go ahead and fill that time.
Fill the void. See, Tommy's a broadcaster. He understands. So as I was saying, we broadcast all around the world, even to the outer lands, to the lands beyond the ice wall, to the lands beyond the known world. Because your friend Andrew, David Weiss, I have a theory. I've said this before. I'll say it to the new listeners. I have a theory Dave Weiss has been beyond the ice wall, and that indeed he vacations, and that indeed he vacations in the land called the Iron Republic, and the land of the Anunnaki, and Lymeria and Mu. I think Dave's been out there. I think he's hiding it from us. I think when Dave goes on vacay, he's taking a trip beyond the ice wall. If anybody's out there, it's you, Dave. That's why we love you so much. And so anyway, our broadcasts, we don't discriminate. We broadcast far and wide across this internet, this world wide web, this realm wide web. Our singer's laughing.
Well,
how's it going there, Tom?
I've spoken with Dave Weiss many times, but I don't want to speak for anyone that's not here to defend themselves on anything like that. But I mean, you can make jokes about people that kind of stuff, but I'm not going to make any accusations.
Try it again, Tom. Go ahead.
Talking. How does this sound?
Much better.
It's better.
Okay.
It's much better. Yeah. All right.
Man, who would have thought that a $5 Family Dollar store microphone would be better than this, tripod sneeze guard fucking thing?
It's weird how it happens.
Yep. This one's from Office Depot.
It might be going bad.
Yeah, it's right out of the box.
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, I bring you back to your regularly scheduled programming. All right, guys.
Yeah, so like I was saying, the shape debate tends to get convoluted with a lot of thrown out points, and that's why I'm trying to slowly organize it together. But like I was saying, with the rights and freedoms people, a lot of that is based on a God-given rights type thing. And so I wondered, well, what would atheists say? And atheists can take the same directions, only in the context of no one was born with an instruction booklet to being human, which is just as good as saying your rights are God-given, as standing in court and saying, show me how I'm wrong, fellow hairless monkey,
Well, which part of it is convoluted exactly that get thrown out?
It's not the points that are convoluted. It's we'll talk about a point, and this isn't you and I, Andrew, but it's we'll talk about a point, and then it's just continuous random things get thrown out, can't space station, and what about this? What about that? And it's I'm trying to keep it on a progressive path where we take the point and build on it. And so I'd kind of like to ask everyone in the audience if they're aware of the story of the Catholic priest that was pre-telescopes or any kind of equipment that just figured out from watching planets and stars, just using geometry to figure out not only were we a globe, but back then we thought the sun was rotating around us. And he was like, no, we're rotating around the sun. And after all his chastisement, and I think the Catholic Church might have executed him, but 2 years later, Michelangelo invented.
Andrew, feel free to jump in because Tommy he'll just. No,
I'm ending on the.
No, you're doing good. I actually didn't. I get it, but this is my note to Andrew is that Andrew, you don't have to be polite. You can be whatever you want, but Tommy will just go and go and go and go and go if you wait for him to take a breath. He doesn't really ever take a breath, so I just wanted to make that point. That's all. It's an
what
editor's
I've told
note,
a lot of panels, though, is the less people you have on the panel, the more you can cut each other off because it's not 8 people trying to get their turn in. If it's just 2 or 3 people, you can civilly interject. So feel free, Andrew. But yeah,
no, I'm polite. I'm just waiting for you to get to your point and address anything.
Right. So 2 years later, Michelangelo invents the telescope, and he's like, "Hey, that stuff that Priest said, he was correct."
That's not true.
And well, I mean, that's how the story goes.
Well, a lot of people also think that like Galileo invented the telescope, which is not even close. It was like 100 years before that we are aware of.
Right, but I'm saying to see these geometry signs, not gematria signs, these geometry signs that we're globe and circling around the sun, you could just use your naked eye and progress, like keep track of. You couldn't notice it in one day. But I also want to start with the point that I'm always saying that the flat earth idea is not stupid. I just think it's incorrect. But it's not stupid to look around and think it looks flat. I agree, it does look flat. We started believing flat, and we eventually figured out globe.
Well, doesn't that just make sense then because of Occam's razor, the law of parsimony? If it looks that way, maybe it is that way. Instead of trying to do something that's way more complicated, the simplest explanation tends to be the right one. And here's what you have to do with Occam's razor. If you study it just a little tiny bit, what they do is you eliminate all of the difficult things that make absolutely no sense. And by the way, for people that are not aware of why it's called Occam's razor, goes back to William of Occam, who he actually didn't even come up with this. He's just the one that was the phrase was named after him. What he would talk about is if you want to take an apple and find out what an apple is, you take a razor and you just start to slowly remove certain parts of the apple skin until you figure out what's on the inside of the apple. So you remove all the easy stuff until you find out entirely what an apple is. So when you want to figure out if NASA is being honest, for example, and they're not, you can easily debunk the ISS and that people are on it. It's the most ridiculous thing. I would sooner chop off both of my hands than believe that the ISS has people inside of it and that NASA built it. It's fucking stupid beyond even comprehension at this point that people believe that that's a real thing that people are in. There's definitely something up in the sky that we can see, but you cannot believe there's people in it moving at 17,500 miles an hour, and it's been up there since the late 90s. I think it cost $100 million to build, 150 plus another $50 million to launch up. There's no video evidence of it whatsoever. They don't show you anything about them cleaning it. I mean, and they have women in there with, it's obvious that it's fake, but people are believing it. So once you can eliminate that, and then eliminate the moon landings, and then eliminate the Mars rover landings, well, then you start to see that NASA's full of shit, and that all the information that they're giving us is invalid. And then, well, okay, then even if that's true, if NASA didn't even exist and no space agency did, then it still wouldn't prove the Earth is flat. But when you start to go out and do your own tests on it, and then look at all the other tests that other people have done, and looking at the history of it, then it starts to make a little bit more sense.
Okay, so this is another way I like to schmooze up to the Discworld crew. It's like, I admit there is a film studio at NASA, but I think it was there in case we didn't beat Russia to the moon. We were going to fake it. And then also, once we were there, there was the live feed that when they didn't want American plebs in their living rooms to see something that they were seeing on the moon, they would feed the studio footage. And that's how you can tell the difference, is anytime that flag is looking crispy and sturdy, that's legit moon footage. And whenever it's waving in the wind, that's studio fill-in stuff. But you can see the space station rotating the Earth. A guy on YouTube has footage of it when he caught it on his telescope. And the speed they're going is tricky because, number one, there's no wind resistance to anything traveling that high. And they're also going against the rotation of the Earth. So they have like 16 sunrises and sunsets every 24-hour period. And don't quote me on that number, but it's something like around 16. They're like going against the Earth's rotation, and they're like passing the sun every time.
Isn't that begging the question, though? Because you're pre-assuming that the Earth is already a sphere.
Well, I'm just talking about... See, to go with this thing about us not really having a debate or a discourse, I'm just going to shoot the shit off of what I can with whatever direction you want to take it. Because like I said, I'm going to keep getting in these casual debates. Like, hold on, I got to grab my notepad, actually, so I can take notes. McLovin, I know you're out there listening. Because I'm slowly making the most efficient beeline. I do this with everything. It's my brain type. I'll be right back.
Tommy, you're supposed to be a broadcaster.
Okay, so I'll just go ahead and say this about the ISS. Any satellite or the moon or even the Earth moving around the sun, if it's actually like that. Because the Earth is moving forward in an orbital direction, that means the ISS would have to speed up and slow down in order to stay kind of like geosynchronous with it in a way. And it would have to speed up and slow down by a lot consistently every 60 degrees, every 90 degrees.
All right, I'm just gonna pause you for a second.
Have to do the same thing.
What's the guy's name? Troubling Tribune. I've always been looking to have a crypto discussion with you. Get that me avoiding a debate because I'm gonna get served shit out of here. I like Andrew. I want to be civil with Andrew. I don't fear debates. I don't fear this barrio I live in and walk around with level 3 soft plates and a blinky, as the darkies call it. Get that out of here. Come get me when you want to talk crypto. All right, Andrew. Now, the space station and any satellite that's in orbit, it's not using a propulsion system. Orbit is like you're falling back to the Earth, but you're high enough that you keep missing the Earth, and you're just in a perpetual state of falling around it. And it's actually the math that we can put things into that to stay in that orbit. So it's not like they have to like give the space station more thrust to keep up. It's just they're falling. And also this newest space station that we're using, it was all the countries that use it have worked together to build it. Like America and NASA didn't just foot the bill for that.
Okay, and who built it? And how long did it take? And why aren't there any photos or videos of it being... I've worked in construction for a long time, so I understand when it comes to construction. We take videos and photos of the construction projects, and we have extremely detailed information based on just the smallest little types of installations. But we don't have that with the ISS. There's no photos of it. And if you were to send me up there, if it was a real thing that was going on, the first thing I would ask is, how long am I going to be up there? Where am I going to take a shit and a piss? And how am I going to go to sleep? And there's nothing like that.
Okay, so this is where we run into the Austin Murphy issue. And I love Austin, but I've named this issue after him because he owes me $1,000 Cash App that I'm going to use for people in the streets out here in Denver. Because he kept saying, show me a picture of space. Show me a picture of space. And even though like 2 or 3 times I went outside and like pointed my camera live on the panel up into the night sky, I still told him, when has someone in the shape debate ever said, yes, picture is proof? Like, picture is what I'll believe when you show me. Because we have live feeds, well, they're recorded now on YouTube, but you can watch them live when they happen, of people on the space station talking about what sections are what, giving a tour, showing where you shit and piss, showing how you eat and bathe and sleep and stuff. Like, you can look that up here on YouTube. Even Dude Perfect has footage of them going up in a blue orbit thing.
No, I'm talking about when it's being built.
Well, I've never seen it built, but you can watch them change heat panels. There's this one I watched recently where they're out doing a walk. They're either adding or switching out these heat panels, and they lose one. And the whole time they continue working, you just see it drift and back down to what you see as the cloud line and the continents and stuff. And it probably made it.
ISS, all the gaffes and mistakes that they've made with it.
What do you mean?
Like hanging on wires, people that are disappearing because of augmented reality or virtual reality, whatever they were using, and just the multitude of reasons why the ISS doesn't have people inside of it. It's fake.
But
the
way they are floating and going through passageways and down into the sleep quarters and stuff, like, you don't CGI women's hair like that and their jewelry and the way water floats around. Like, that's why Elon said space looks fake, because all we've known is George Lucas space and Marvel Universe space. And really, space is like a cold, desolate, fake-looking, dead-ass place, unless you're...
How do you know that, though?
Because you're looking up at it, and you see the footage from on the moon and stuff, how the stars even take more gap. Like, once you're out there, the stars even spread out to a bigger gap because you're, like, involved in it, compared to standing on a globe looking through an atmosphere at all of it from here. Like, the atmosphere can be like a lens. That's why the sky's blue as the sun comes through it and shit. But as far as the people in the space station, like, Sovereign Souls already ran me through the airplane pack. Like, airplanes can't drop for simulating zero gravity as long as this footage runs. And man, there's just, I mean, we'd have to watch and react to some as we watch it. There's stuff I'd point out that it's like, you just don't computer that. Like, like the way we can look back at the early Matrix movies and earlier movies and be like, oh, now it looks like worse CGI, but when it was new to you, it looked like great CGI. And when you look at some of the space station stuff, we don't CGI that yet.
Okay, so what level of evidence would it require for you to understand that the ISS is not built by NASA? There's nobody inside of it. I mean, what would it take?
Well, why do you personally, like, what points do you believe that under? And then also, what would it take for you?
Well, I mean, I asked a question, and then I'll answer that afterward.
Well, like, what it would take for me to deny that we went to the moon or that there's people on the space station, it would be like somebody having to figure out how they'd go back to Santa belief or something, you know? Like, I'm sure something could happen that if it is false, there would be something that happens where, like, Andrew, that's what I needed. And now I'm like, you know, like, I'm not going to hang myself over it because I don't believe it. It's like, we're going to slowly get to all the stuff that makes me know it. But I don't know what the answer. I would ask you as well, like, well, what would you need to see or know to believe it?
Well, that's sort of like saying, what level of evidence would I need to believe that Santa Claus is real? And that would have to be an extreme level of evidence, and way beyond anything that NASA has ever provided. So it would be about the same thing. If you can convince me that the ISS is real, it would be the same amount of evidence that I would require to believe that Santa Claus is flying around with reindeer.
Yeah, and this is another way I've always tried to have. This is why I made the term Discworlders whenever I first started going on Ian's panel. I was like, Discworlders is my term for like endearment and to show that these flat earthers are friends or bros, you know. What was I gonna say? What were you just saying? I was gonna say something about what you just said. This is my last of my weed, and it's raw keef because I can't buy weed until I renew my fucking ID. So I've just been smoking straight keef. Excuse me, audience. I've kind of talcotted myself.
Oh, I partake as well. I'm just not doing it right now.
Yeah,
I don't hold it against you unless you're smoking meth or crack or something.
No, meth is when it's like Z said, I'm not on meth when I come on these streets and do my spaz thing, because I've always been a spaz. But yeah, whenever I did meth, I made hundreds of thousands of dollars in the stock market. I got dollar an hour raises with a
I wasn't trying to bring that up
manager position.
To make it a topic. Okay, I was just saying
it's
that
smokable
smoking a little bit of
Adderall,
ganja is fine, but when you start getting outside
Small
of
Mustache was doing meth when he almost took over the world, and most of that army was doing meth as well.
I've heard that. I've never seen any solid evidence for it, though.
Americans have done meth legally as well, in various forms. We're prescribing it to kids today.
All right, well, let's not get into a conversation like that. It's a little.
I was trying to trick myself, and I can stumble back onto my forgotten point. But go ahead and just repose this.
So if the Earth is indeed, as you believe, rotating around the sun, every 6 months, day and night should be different.
And it is with the wobble too. Like that's how you have that 30 days of night.
No, just keep it real simple. It should be different every 6 months.
Oh, that's what I wanted to tell you about the Occam razor thing. I agree about Occam's razor, but in this context, it is. And I'd like to start finding more times that Occam's razor doesn't apply, because being a flea-sized thing on a huge like concert level beach ball, it is hard to figure out that it's a globe without a number.
So Occam's razor simply says that the simplest explanation tends to be the correct one. However, there's something called the anti-razor, where someone says just because it seems simple doesn't mean it has to be simple. For example, if you want to figure out how a computer motherboard works, you can't just say, well, it isn't this, it's not an apple, it's not a dinosaur, it's not a, whatever. You have to break it down into very complex things. Like there's integrated circuits and, micro CPUs and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I agree that there is something called the anti-razor, which makes a lot of sense. However, Occam's razor simply says if you want to figure out something that should be complicated and may not be complicated, you just eliminate the obvious things at the beginning.
And I'd say the simplest, uncomplicated thing would be the geometry concept, like same way the Aztecs were making their calendars.
All right, guys, we're going to take an intermission. It's intermission time. Hold on, don't go anywhere. I'm enjoying this. I don't know about you, crowd. I don't know. I'm into this. Wanted to give some commentary. Let's bring up head motherfucker in charge, Steve, to give his commentary. We'll get his feedback on this current discussion. We'll let Andrew hit the bong, because we watched Illumitami hit his keef pipe. So we need to give Andrew the same courtesy, allow him to, imbibe whatever he's going to need to continue this discussion. Let's bring Steve up. How's it going, Steve?
What's up, man?
What's up, man? I wanted to bring you up, kind of, you're listening to this thing, let's give some commentary during the intermission here. How do you think the discussion's going so far?
Tommy's doing well. Andrew, I've seen him maybe once or twice, so he seems to be doing well. They're being cordial, asking some questions, and trying to figure each other out. And see where they're going. I always
would
like
agree.
the question, like when you say, well, we're out in space, it's nothing. Well, how do you know that? You know what I mean? So that's pretty much how I live my life, man. It's like, tell me how you know that. I want to know what's your explanation of that.
Right.
But,
we question things. We can use certain methods of inquiry to try to discover some degree of truth, right? And try to get beyond our beliefs. Let's bring up Austin Murray to see what his commentary is on the current discussion. Austin, what do you think?
I think you're all fucking completely insane, and I don't know, bro. Who knows at this point, man? Who fucking knows? I'm gonna smoke a bowl and probably pass out soon. Who knows, man?
Fair enough, Austin. Austin coming in with his hard-hitting take, basically saying,
Hey,
who knows?
Austin, I can't tell you the nature, the reality of our existence. I mean, it could be fucking. There's so many possibilities, Z. You know that.
Right. Austin, I think you might be in a similar place as I am in this whole journey.
Dude, there's so many fucking possibilities. Yes, we know it's flat measurably. It could be a fucking simulation. It could be a hologram. It could be what the fuck ever. I don't fucking know, bro. I don't fucking know.
Much like me, Austin Murphy, you seem to have a blue screened with the whole process. I've blue screened with the whole truth journey. You hit a point where it just becomes information overload, and then you just blank out, and then just everything becomes possible all at once. And then really it's probably a good place to be in, dude. It's probably a good headspace where because then you could really abandon all of your beliefs, assumptions, and otherwise, and probably move into a space of maybe some Zen-like space of acceptance. I don't know. That's where I'm trying to get to, dude.
Yeah. Well, you guys, I mean, it could be like full like empowerment or like okay, you realize you're in control of it's manifest destiny is what it is. Like you can manifest your own destiny. You speak it into existence. When you realize that you're at the fucking center and you are it, right? I mean, that's what I fucking think. I think I'm at the fucking center of this shit. Obviously, there's no fucking planets and all that shit,
Fair enough, Austin. Fair
obviously,
enough.
See, that's where you see right there. He says obviously,
bro.
You know
okay,
what I mean?
I can have a logical.
It's obvious stuff. Hold on, Steve.
Time,
Steve, would you be comfortable in saying that there's obviously no Santa Claus? You yourself.
Yeah, that's like a fairy tale.
Right. For ones like Austin and myself, it's the same. It's analogous. We can obviously say that the space presentation as given is just as fanciful as Santa Claus. But anyway, let's get back to our discussion. Let's get back to Illumitami and Andrew. Much love, guys.
Yes, sir.
All right, Andrew. You there still? Andrew, we can't hear you if you're there.
He's probably just ripping the bong. I can fill a little bit of time.
I'm sure you can,
Steve,
Tommy. There's
like,
no doubt.
me and Steve are cool. Whoa, my light's going crazy. Oh, that's
I'm sorry.
actual
I'm here.
sun. Look at that. That's the actual sun coming through at 6:30. It's giving me fucking...
Be careful, Tommy. We might see you just, like, disintegrate. I've seen vampires be exposed to the sun before. It's not a pretty scene. Tommy, on an ancillary
I'm a day walker.
You sure?
I'll be right back. I got to use the restroom real quick.
You got it, Andrew.
I just wanted to say, Steve,
hold on,
we're
Tommy.
cool. Hold on, this
ahead.
needs to be said. Steve, we're cool. We've always got along, but you hold court with my pedo accusers. like right in their home fields. I just want you to know that.
Who?
You know, I don't want to glorify their channels with their names, but you know that whole crew with the hillbilly rapper and the Zelda symbol 40-year-old man. Well, I won't say man, but yeah, those guys are my pedo accusers. They come to London's, they come on my video comments. It's crazy.
Oh, you're talking about like the Unslavia sheep?
No, I'm talking about. I mean, I don't think you're
I'm not
over
a part of
there.
that.
Huh?
I'm not a part of
No,
that,
I think you go to Unslavia more than these guys, but you've been on the panel with Hillbilly Rapper and some of the people that are my pedo accusers. It doesn't bother me. They're wrong. People
I don't
might
believe you're a pedo. I mean,
No,
what
I'm
other
not.
people
I'm
say
not.
and feel that
No, there
that
was
doesn't have no.
the story's already been explained, and people can think what they want, but it was legal. It might have been in, like it doesn't matter. Like
Tommy, let it go. You're the one who's keeping this whole story alive, dude. It's like you're the one who just keeps looping on. It's a big metaverse. Nobody would really
watch your chat. Watch your chat if they get up this early. Watch your chat. We'll see.
Oh, they follow everybody around everywhere you go. It's kind of actually disgusting, you know. It's just this constant engaging of drama. You know what I mean? Engaging of this fuckery. You know what I mean?
Well, some
I go
might
where
say
I can
that
learn.
even the shape debate is drama. Drama is just a thing, but I get what you're saying.
No, that's a false analogy. That's a false equivalency. No,
I just don't like drama being used as a derogatory term. Drama is like a thing, like it's a movie genre.
Right on. All right, let's get back to the discussion, not a debate, discussion.
And I remembered what I was gonna say, Andrew. Another endearing thing I do with the Discworld debate is I try and not make it about the shape debate as much as finding the key points where we start to disagree or we still agree on. Like I've met Discworlders that think we go to space, and I've met Discworlders that say, yeah, I saw the space station with my own telescope and my own eyes. So there's a wide variety out there. It's like,
why are you calling it a disc?
Like I said, that's my endearing term to show I'm not saying flat earthers. It's like those are my Discworld bros. Because as long as we're not giving each other a guillotine or the chair over it, it really doesn't matter if we disagree.
Okay. But I hope you understand that a lot of people are given the perception that space is real and that Earth is part of the solar system, but the Earth is the only one that's flat, and that there's this really weird type of a dynamic involved with the perception that people have with it. It's not necessarily that at all. It's just that the Earth is flat, and we have a boundary as far as we know, and we have no idea how deep it goes, and there's only so far that we can go up.
Yeah, and that's just where we'll start to disagree. But I do agree we haven't fully explored the depths of the ocean or dug as deep as, like, we haven't dug through and came out what you would say is the bottom or I would say is the other side. I agree with that. But another thing is, like, I need it to be a globe just to get on some of my tinfoil stuff, like what's going on in Antarctica and why we can't go there. My stuff doesn't fly if it's not a globe with Antarctica. And that in Arctic, as in North Pole, is like Arctic means that Antarctic means like opposite pole. And that's when we get into the electromagnetic of it all. Like it has to be polar, like your batteries have the plus and minus pole. The Earth is technically doing that for the electromagnetic field, because when electricity is running through wires, it's causing a level of electromagnetism around it.
I am very, very knowledgeable when it comes to electricity. And you did say
That's why I was excited
earlier
to do
you
this.
wanted to teach me more about that. And I said, no, thank you, because I don't really know you. And because I do my own research on it.
Oh, was that you in the chat?
That was me.
Oh, that's awesome. Then we're clearing it all up.
Okay.
So you're an electrical engineer.
I'm not going to give my credentials. Let's put it that way. I know a lot about
Right. But when Z said, because I know there is engineering school and electrical engineering, it is different. Like, so I'm not going to hold credentials above you. I'm just trying to discern which one you might have been institutionally trained in.
I know a lot about electricity. I have
Okay.
electrical theory textbooks sitting right next to me. I know a lot about it.
And I kept mine too, because that equation for AC electric, they don't even make you memorize it. They're like, what human would bother trying to memorize the equation for AC electric?
Right. Okay. So which conspiracy? I'm not really sure how much further we can jabber on about flat Earth and all that stuff, because I'm not really sure if you're ever going to be convinced that you have been sold a whole bunch of book of lies on it. But which conspiracy have you ever looked at and been like, oh, okay, I was lied about. I was told a lie about that.
Don't get me wrong. Like, I also sit and think about flat Earth-ish thing. Like, I'm trying to debunk my own globe thing just as a mental exercise. Like, sometimes if I'm just thinking about stuff, I'll try and debunk things for myself. Yeah, honestly, the earliest conspiracy that you probably remember from pre-internet, I believed the KFC lab-grown chickens with no beaks or really developed limbs, because they're just all plugged into hoses and growing as meaty chickens. I believed that. And I also believed the sawdust percentage of Taco Bell meat.
That's it?
That's what I can think of in the moment. The hard part about that question is if I found out something was wrong, I like make space. I forget it easier. Like, even stuff I know, if I was just alone on an island, I'd just sit there dormant. Like, it's another human saying things to me that I go, oh, when I was a kid, something similar happened. And I'll tell the story, but I wouldn't resurrect the story in my brain without someone.
Well, speaking of the chicken thing real quick, this is a little bit of a side note. I have a buddy who worked as a PLC technician. PLC is programmable logical controls.
I know. It drove me nuts
and
to
he worked
do
at
them
Hormel.
over and over and over. Yeah.
So at Hormel, you know, that's a chicken like farm kind of area.
Mm-hmm.
And he asked me a little trivia question. He said, how long do you think it takes from the time that the chickens are hatched to the time where they get their heads cut off at the Hormel factory? And I said, I don't know, maybe a few months. He said, no, 3 weeks. Which was kind of because they inject them with all kinds of steroids and all that kind of stuff to make them grow faster, so they can just push it out. So that's not a conspiracy. I know people that have worked there, so it's kind of disgusting.
No, that's totally true. We had a chicken plant adjacent to my hometown. It was a
all right, everybody, hold on, Tony. We've gone from space to chickens.
Yeah, you should stay and keep it mediated.
No, it was a good segment. I actually liked not being there. I wanted you guys to have a discussion without any other influence because, like I said to Dick, I needed to recuse myself because I'm obviously biased in this conversation. So I needed to recuse myself from the deliberations. So I don't know. I don't know if we learned anything from it, but you know, one thing I learned is that Tommy basically, you know, is continuing to promote his innocence in terms of his pedophilia allegations. But Tommy, if you're to take any advice from me, take it for what it's worth. It might be something you just might want to stop talking about, and you know, it might die down at some point.
No, I have a whole new subject that can develop from it that takes it away from me, but it addresses a few things about the mental state of people when they think about pedo.
Okay, I was still waiting for one at least slight example or explanation as to anything I brought up in regards to the ISS.
Yeah, I wanted to elaborate on the chicken thing.
The day-night shift that should occur every 6 months.
Yeah, we'll get to it. We'll get to it, man. We're just shooting the shit.
We don't have much time left. I mean, Z only has like what 20-something minutes left.
Oh, this is segment 1. It'll be a returning segment then.
Yeah, we could bring you guys back at another point. We don't have to, we could let it simmer. Sometimes you guys know my theory. Leave them wanting more. Anyway, Illumitami, any closing thoughts for the audience? Go ahead.
Yeah, all anybody is doing is trying to do their own version of OTW, and you need to do OTW. It's what I offer. You need panels. None of the hosts in these streets can just sit every day and fill hours alone and hold the interest of a chat. Like, you need people. You need us panel walkers to show up and contribute where we can, and then everybody can find out what panel walkers they like and what matchups they'd like to see according to what host. I'm going to cover all this in the Spurg News documentary of Eye on the Streets. So me and Andrew will definitely be back, if anything, to help you fill a day.
Much love, Tommy. Great having you here.
Yeah.
All right. Illumitami, everybody. Illumitami. Andrew, I think you fared well against our friend Illumitami. I think Tommy could be sometimes hard to wrangle a thought out of him, but he seemed fairly coherent today. So Tommy, whatever you did, I mean, you were able to present fairly well today. So I tip my hat to you, sir. I tip my hat. Your thoughts, Andrew?
Stay off the meth. You'll probably be a lot better off.
Gotcha.
And then Mitchell in the StreamYard chat was saying, interested in this conversation. Will you please mention intellectual honesty? And yeah,
Mitchell, I was going to bring you up, dude. Mitchell, I don't know where you went. He said that's what I wanted to say. Mitchell, you were there. I was going to bring you up, and then you just leave. Anyway, much love, Mitchell.
If people are not aware of what intellectual honesty actually is if you are being asked a question like, oh, how many people are on the ISS? And you say, oh, there's 4 right now. And you have no fucking clue about that. You're not being intellectually honest. The better answer is, I don't know. Or there aren't is the actual correct question. Correct answer. So just making stuff up in order to continue a conversation or make yourself look more intelligent is not intellectually honest.
Fair enough. Any final thoughts for the crowd today, Andrew?
I think I'm good. Melodome is coming up here in a little bit, so I'm going to be checking that out as I'm doing some of my coursework.
Right on, homie. All right, man. Keep it real.
Thank you very much for having me on.
It's Andrew B, everybody. Andrew B. Before we move into the next segment, let's bring up Steve to see if he has any final thoughts for the listening audience. Steve.
Hey, man. So I've been looking at this argument, the globe compared to the flat earth. I don't know what I believe in the flat earth side, but I think the mission and the objective is to show you why the earth isn't a round or a sphere, right? I mean, that's
and moving.
A good argument. Right, the movement. We are the center of the universe. The sun loops around and the moon loops around. Everything's looping around us. So it really opened my eyes last night watching that video, and I was kind of talking through it. Pointing out, the holograms. The green screens are using the ISS. So I'm definitely another notch. Moving towards of thinking it's possible, but I can believe that the Earth's not a globe, but from my 2 minutes of experience into the research of this, I kind of feel like, if I can visualize it for you, from pictures that I've seen of the moon, or what we think is of the moon, the craters, you can see all the impacts of something's hitting it. It kind of seems like we could definitely be on a bigger sphere than we think. only because I see the moon is round and the sun is round, but we're like in a crater, with an ice wall all the way around. So yeah, technically we're flat, but I don't think it's just like this flat piece of rock in space, whatever space is. I think we're just on a bigger ball that we just can't even fathom yet. It doesn't make any sense.
Fair enough, Steve. All right, homie. Much love.
Hey, man. Appreciate it, bud.
Peace out.
Yeah,
it's Steve from the HMFIC channel. Because he is the head motherfucker in charge. I learned that's what it stands for. Andrew is advocating that I get more women, more females up in the panel. And then Trish Bastone's letting us know that indeed she'd be willing to come on if I just streamed later. I think somebody else who just got here is probably willing to come on if I streamed later, and that's Mr. Jack Talcott, everybody. Jack Talcott. Welcome to the chat. Jack, I'm going to bring up OTW News to close out the show. We're going to get you on another time, Jack. We can't just squeeze Jack in towards the end. We can't do a man like Jack such a disservice as to give him a hasty, a hasty segment. So, Jack, we're going to get you up here another time. I don't want to crowbar Jack in. He deserves better. Right, Jack? Much love, dude. Jack says it's a fun show this AM. Appreciate it, Jack. We're here every morning. It's morning for me. Rising. 6 to 9 Eastern Standard Time, everybody. All right, let's get ready for our next news, or our next segment. For our next segment, we have my good friend of the show. He's all of our friends. And he's here to give us all the news from around the Truthiverse. Not only do we discuss the goings-on of the different individuals and characters of the Truthiverse at large, but maybe we discuss issues that are prominent, topics that are prominent amongst the Truthiverse. And I can think of no better person to do so than our good friend Patrick from OTW News. He does have a news channel. So, of course, he's our news guy. Patrick is the Z Show news guy. So, without any further ado, here to bring us all the breaking news from around the Truthiverse, let's welcome back to the show, OTW. OTW, welcome back.
OTW! What's up, Z? Grand rising to everybody. Great show. Always glad to be here. We have an interesting story for you today, ladies and gentlemen. Breaking news. We have Mr. Trinity 4 from the Flat Earth community has been doing a lot of activism lately. Is on the streets and literally debating Flat Earth with common people passing through the streets and revealing all of the deception that has been going on for the past, let's say, 100 years. So this is a breaking news for this morning. We'll bring you the next one right after our comments from the host, sir. Ladies and gentlemen.
Nice. So it looks like he has something upcoming. I see he's got something scheduled for now. He looks like he's going to be going live soon. So let me drop the link, Patrick. That was a great headline to start with. Our friend Trinity Dave, Trinity 4, who I interviewed a couple days ago here on my show. He is a prominent activist out there. The Trinities are here in the chat. He will be on the streets in Brighton, apparently. So,
oh, they're there. Well, just wanted to say thanks for playing my song on. I heard my Flat Earth song play in the background while I was watching their.
Somebody played that song, Patrick. Wow.
Right. Yeah, right where. Well, I guess I don't know who it was playing it, but it was playing in the background, and I heard it. I was really happy.
Like, I don't
It's
want to I don't want to disparage your your rapping abilities, because Patrick, I'm a fan of yours and your music and your musical stylings. But yeah, I've said before that I feel that rap might not be your, might not be your best, most preferred genre. That I feel like heavy metal and rock would be more your your zone, your milieu. Do you have any thoughts on that?
I'm going to tend to agree. The rap song was actually my first rap song ever, and it was a great experience. Just wanted to have some fun with that, and I figured that Flat Earth needed a new song.
Nice. So yeah, I dropped the link for Trinity Dave's channel. He's going to be going live in Brighton. Everybody, check that out. Sunday. It should be a good time. I don't know if you were watching him after he came on my stream a few days ago. I was watching him as he was live, and Patrick, he was basically being attacked by a bunch of like British hoodlums who I was comparing to the movie A Clockwork Orange. Did you happen to see that? I almost played it on my show.
Yeah, I've seen Clockwork Orange, but yeah, I restreamed his live yesterday. So I did a show yesterday. It was called Let's Talk About Flat Earth on the Saturn Day stream that I do on Saturdays, and I was restreaming his the whole thing. I restreamed it all, so you get to see everything he did.
It was amazing, Patrick, seeing the indoctrination and the programming being expressed through these young lads. You watched a group think that was going on, and to me, it was a fascinating insight into the nature of the programming and how the lie is perpetuated, right? And just watching the whole process to me was fascinating, as they were basically attacking Dave, who was just there doing some very innocuous street activism. Dude, what's your thoughts on that?
Well, my thoughts were like he had multiple conversations with many people of different ages. The conversation that he had was with this old man, which was very. That was the best conversation he had. Because the old man was actually interested in having an actual exchange with Trinity. So, in my opinion, maybe he didn't really get a chance to convince the guy, but at least the guy was open-minded enough to listen to Trinity, and the conversation was actually productive.
Right.
In other words, yeah. But with all the other people, it was all attacks and literally practically making fun of him. A little group of young men listened to what he had to say. One of the young men said that he had good points and great facts. But another gentleman said that, look, it's nice what you're doing. You sound smart and everything, but I'm still going to believe it's a globe, So there was a lot of different reactions to what Dave was doing.
Right on. Before we move on to the next headline, Mitchell's in the back. Let's bring Mitchell up so he could lend his voice to today's show.
All right.
Mitchell, how dare you interrupt the OTW news segment? But Mitchell, you do hold a very special place in my heart. So I'm going to allow this. I'm going to allow this interruption. Welcome back, Mitchell. Good to see you. What's up, man?
Hey, what's up, man? I hope I don't make you regret this, but I can't help but share my perspective on the situation, given the opportunity, if you'll let me.
Sure, Mitchell, but the only problem is you're having bad intermittency issues. You're roboting really badly right now.
All right. Let me try my camera off. That might help. I'm in the mountains. Sorry.
It's all right. Try now.
That doesn't help. I'll bail out. But on the Trinity thing, because I think he does have the ability to bring some good value to the conversation, except when you guys are victiming for him, I think that's kind of inappropriate, because my perspective on the situation was he kept saying that those kids came up to him. Well, he approached those kids and they just kind of ignored him. He followed them, and then it turned into a pretty heated interaction. And so I don't see it to be appropriate at all for a grown man to get up in a kid's face for telling him to fuck off. You know, I know he felt disrespected, but and then he misrepresented the situation to the police and was advocating for more police and more laws and more big. So I just
yeah, Mitch.
I didn't
no, Mitch, fair enough, man. Mitch, you're bringing a counterpoint to the story.
Sorry, go ahead.
And no, I mean, Mitch is bringing a counterpoint, and you know, his wife is in the chat, and she says that's not how it was. So she would tend to disagree with it. But either way, Mitch, fair enough, dude. You know, you're lending your voice and you're giving a counterpoint. I appreciate it. Do you have anything else? Because you're coming in, but your audio is a bit choppy, dude. Do you have anything else you want to add? Because I don't want to interrupt Pat in his segment.
Well, yeah, it kind of takes us back to the. Yeah, just real quick, if it's if the audio is bearable, but I just our truth is going to be limited to the perception. I get that there's a little bit of bias, maybe. I think that we could have a conversation about this. I mean, Trinity even admitted that he could have done things different and better. And so to now just kind of paint this picture like he's being attacked and victimized for just his righteous indignation and whatever is kind of a misrepresentation of the reality to me. But
all right, Mitch. Fair enough,
thanks.
Dude. Fair enough on that, bro.
I don't want to interrupt. Thanks for letting me share my perspective, man. Peace.
All right, Mitch. Much love. Mitchell, everybody. There's Mitchell. Fair enough, dude. So I look at these street activists, and that's just a term. It's just people talking. But when you're out there, I guess with a goal or an agenda, you can consider it activism. And there's a lot of complications. You're amongst the people. You know, it's one thing, Patrick, right, to be here doing what we're doing on the on the web. It's another thing to be on the ground. You know, when you're hitting the streets, it's a completely different ball game. You know?
It's crazy. It's not at all the same thing. I mean, come on, think about it. The guy is on the ground and screaming it out right in the streets, the truth. Like, I mean, who does that? Nobody does that. This guy is awesome. This is like an example for the truther community to go out there and try to explain to people that they've been deceived and lied to for so many years, and they need to wake up. And I commend Mr. Trinity for doing embarking in such an endeavor. I think is this guy deserves a medal. I mean, come on, man, think about it. None of us do that.
Right on. And I dropped a link in the chat for Trinity Dave's channel. He's going to be going live very, very shortly. And, Oh,
yeah. I really recommend.
I'll advocate to support the endeavor.
All right. So for our next story, ladies and gentlemen, we have presently Mr. Sovereign Soul, Unchained Mind, making videos with Brian Staveley lately. His numbers have been going up, and he's still staying strong even after the big incident with Zetetic Warrior and Paul Unslaved, ladies and gentlemen. So now he has made a video, I believe it was aired yesterday, with Brian Staveley, and also Brian Staveley reposted it on his own channel. So anybody wants to go check that out, we have Mr. Sovereign Soul, who is growing in the Flat Earth community. What are your thoughts about that, sir?
My thought is, I love Brian. Everybody knows I love Staveley. He's a defender of truth, and I think he's established himself as a leader, amongst these communities. As far as Dave, I harbor no great ill will towards Dave. He's made some accusations against me that some may consider in some ways untoward and discourteous. But very likely, Dave, if you hear this, you could probably say that you could probably level the same accusation against me, that I've been discourteous and untoward towards you. So either way, I mean, I've made my feelings about Dave well known in the past. Probably really no need to hash it up now. To see the whole presentation there, I think Dave is what he is. I think he's going to resonate with certain types of people, maybe not so with others. So he probably has a niche somewhere amongst the community. If I'm to be honest, I find Dave a bit, I don't know, he's not my flavor. He's a little dry. He's a little addled for me. He's a little addled. Not my cup of tea, so to speak. But I really don't have anything horrible to say about him, except that, I don't agree with his categorization of me. He basically came out and called me an agent over and over again, like multiple times, with zero proof at all. And, I don't know if he's willing to recant that or not, but I conjectured that Jay that he's in many ways, harbors some type of particular feelings towards me because we probably have very similar thoughts. He probably sees me as a competitor somewhat. Maybe I see him as a competitor. I don't know. But either way, much love Stavely, much love Dave. I mean, they resonate on a lot of topics. Dave's willing to go into these topics. We all know Brian Stavely is very interested in the Mandela effect. So's Dave. They both have flat Earth. They both basically agree on the whole flat Earth topic. So it makes sense to me. The relationship makes sense. It's just I'm not willing to go in as deep. You see my show, Patrick. My show's sticky. I like to bounce and move. I like to bring different elements in. I like to bring a certain energy. It's two different types of material. But it seems like Dave has a place. But is he somebody I'm going to sit and watch his videos? Likely not, So he claimed that my quote unquote YouTube career imploded. He made a claim months ago that my this Zetetic Warrior has imploded. He actually made a whole video about it. But I think it's quite evident that it's to the contrary. So, but only time will tell, though.
Well, hopefully, you guys will find resolution at a certain point down the line. Our next story, ladies and gentlemen, is... Well,
let me just say this before you move on. I hope for resolution amongst all the communities, Pat. I mean, even with our friend Ian from We Are Awake TV, dude. I mean, at some point, we need to move beyond the hijinks. We need to move beyond the metaversal madness. And it's probably okay to move forward at this point. There's a lot of people out there. There's tens, if not hundreds of thousands of quote unquote flat earthers all around the earth. Really, guys, that's not a joke. I know many of you think we're some weird little group of just, goofballs who are just deluded. It's not how it is. And that's just the flat earth community. When you take the whole truth of Earth at large, there's a lot to tap into. So I think at some point we're going to move beyond all this stuff. I think a lot of it, like I said, is metaversal hijinks. Some of this stuff I think we all needed to work out amongst each other. But at this point, whether it's Sovereign Slave Dave, Ian, or anybody else who we've had some type of issue with in the past, I'm willing to work towards reconciliation, Patrick. That's my thoughts on it.
That's excellent. Really glad to hear that, sir. So to move on to our next story, we have Mr. Jason John Swartz, the keto advocate, is right now still on Freedom Growers' back. Actually, he's still, putting out videos saying that Freedom is believes that, or Dick, if you want to call him Freedom or Dick, believes that the Bible is completely allegory. Now he's making these allegations. Put a video out 2 days ago. So we still have the Freedom Grower and Jason John Swartz battle going on still to this day. Your thoughts on that?
Interesting. Well, obviously you're well acquainted with my history with Mr. Jason John Schwartz. I mean, I'll just give my take. I mean, I don't really find him as credible in many ways. Without banging on him too hard, he seems to be, in a lot of ways, disturbed, to say the least, and in some ways desperate with this whole presentation here on the metaverse. If you tap into his streams, it's usually him just streaming to his family. It's his brothers on the panel, and his mom is his biggest supporter in the chat. And maybe there's 3 other people watching. I'm not sure. So I don't know, man. He seems to expend an exorbitant amount of time in the metaverse. I've watched him stream from his job. I think he's some type of radiology technician, and he's on the job in his scrubs streaming to his audience for like hours on end, talking about inane nonsense. I don't know how people are paying for him to do that, but he is Canadian, and I know you guys up there in Canada, Patrick, have socialized healthcare, so he probably really doesn't have to do much when he's on the job. But kind of, it's weird, dude. What is he doing? Like, Patrick, do you find it weird that he's streaming for hours on end when he's working and he's actively in scrubs in the room? What do you think about that, dude?
I guess it all depends on if he's on his quarter or something. Like, usually you have rounds to do, and if you do your rounds, I guess you have a certain time where you're available to.
Yeah, it's not like that, Patrick.
Screw around. Dude. I don't know.
You're supposed to be doing notes. You're supposed to be doing continuing education where you're developing yourself and getting acquainted with new technology and new issues, new evidence-based practices. I was in healthcare for years. You don't have downtime when you're clocked in. Anyway, okay. Patrick, we're 2 minutes past the air. Oh, you got a third. You got a fourth one. We usually do 3.
One last one, real quick one. Okay.
Go ahead.
Everybody, you had just mentioned Ian, so we here at OTW News are wondering, where is Ian? So we have gotten a picture lately on a beach where we might have had a sighting of Ian. So please, if you want to share the screen, sir, we have a picture here, ladies and gentlemen, of the beach where we think Ian might be hiding. We might have an idea. Ian might be here somewhere. So if anybody can point him out, we and give us a little bit of information on what's happening with Ian.
That's funny. For those of you just listening, it's a picture of Where's Waldo. It's a Where's Waldo image. Good one, Pat. That was a good one.
So that
I don't usually allow images on my stream, but in this case, I'm glad I made an exception because that was a good one. Yeah, Christos is much love, Ian. Much love. Where's Ian? We need to start the movement. Well, Patrick, do we want? I mean, here's the thing, Ian. Patrick. Ian's last 5 to 10 videos all centered around me, trashing me, exposing me. But I don't know, man. Why is it that there's somewhere in my heart, in a deep recess of my consciousness, where I would like to see Ian back here for some reason? I don't want to see Ian go out like that, so to speak.
Same here.
So much love to Ian, dude. We hope you're well.
I even sent him a text message early on this week asking him, "This is about time you make a comeback here."
It is what it is, dude. We're all on our individual journeys, not only here but in life, Patrick. You and I know the pitfalls of the metaverse. It requires time, energy. It requires a healthy dose of humility, man, to come out here and put yourself up to scrutiny like this. I don't want a victim. I don't want a victim. We don't need the victim advocate Mitchell coming back at us for this. But Axis said he's taking care of his sick mom, and that could be. We don't know that, but I've heard that too, Axis, that he's having issues with his family, and we could all relate to that. But to me, Patrick, this is a long game. We're all in it for different reasons. I'm on here 3 hours a morning. I haven't even monetized yet. And once I do, I don't expect like great gains coming from it. But the reason I'm going to monetize, Patrick, I don't know, maybe you have some thoughts to this, is that I find myself, by not monetizing, I resent the experience. It's one of the reasons why I took my 2-month hiatus, amongst others, is that I started building some type of internal resentment towards myself and the whole process and other creators, right? And so really it's not about the money, but it's about saying, hey, I'm putting my time, energy, attention into this endeavor. And, you're creating a situation where you could allow your supporters to show their support in a real way. So I don't know if you have any thoughts on that.
Well, I've just been recently monetized, and I think it's not something that's easy because there's a lot of things you have to do in the administrative sense. Like you got to give them your income taxes, revenues, and all that stuff, man. There's a lot of things you got to do too, and I haven't even been able to do it all because I don't do income taxes. So I haven't done income taxes in that past 5 years.
Well,
so
you mean what, for monetization on YouTube? Like,
well,
or else they're going to hold
back. They're going to hold back 30% if I don't give them my fiscal.
Well, here's the thing, dude. I'm very likely am not going to monetize. You're monetized on YouTube. People, I see people super chatting you. I'm talking more like Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, those type of things, dude.
That's the best. That's in my opinion. It's been better that way for me than obviously from YouTube.
Right.
YouTube is fine. I mean, I haven't gotten any money from them yet, but I mean, that's whatever, you know. I mean, it's not like I'm depending on it or anything. But no, sorry, I'm stumbling here. The donations have been very, very, very generous and very. It's a lot better than YouTube. So thank you everyone for whoever's.
You mean the individual ones, the Venmo, Cash App, and PayPal?
Yeah, I use Ko-fi, right? And they take a really small share from they'll take 50 cents off of $10, you know, something like that. It's really it's nothing.
You got it. Hashtag truth or grift. We'll give all the haters more fuel against us. But Patrick, you realize how it is. I've been on here for hours and hours and hours, and I've not even tried to monetize. Guys, I used to get bigger views. My first 2 weeks that I launched my streams, I was getting bigger views because I was coming on during the day and other reasons. So I'm not super concerned about numbers because we know it's a slow burn. But not to be redundant, but I just find, Patrick, that I'm able to resolve the process a little bit more if I'm able to open myself up to some type of, support, so I can come on here and, feel a little bit better about the whole thing, dude. Anyway.
Well, it feels good actually when you get your first donation or when somebody actually shows appreciation for what you do. It feels good, man. It feels good.
Right on. All right, let's wrap it up because we're already 8 minutes over. Another good segment, Patrick. Are you feeling good about this new segment that we do here?
Yes, sir. I'm having fun, sir. I enjoy this.
All right, that makes two of us. All right, homie. Any final thoughts?
No, and besides, everybody go over to Trinity 4 to go check out his live, advocating the globe lie and everything. So guys, go ahead and see his work. This guy's phenomenal. He does interactions and has conversations with all kinds of different people of all different ages. So make sure you go over there, show him some sub love. That will be the last words for OTW News. Breaking news alert. Thank you guys for joining us, and see you next time. Much love.
Much love to you, Patrick. Patrick from OTW News coming at us with another hard-hitting segment. All right, everybody. That's it for me. Melodome is streaming now. Now check them out. Or not. It's up to you. But we like the Melodome. I do, at least. I do. Much love, everybody. We'll be back tomorrow. Same time, same place. You have a beautiful day, too, yourself, Mr. Talcott. Hopefully the weather's nice, the climate where you are, up in Washington, state of Washington. It's I'm sure it's a beautiful time of year. It's a beautiful season up there. Can only imagine. Annette's back. What's up, Annette? It's good to see you. One love to you, Annette. Haven't seen you in a while. Annette, everybody. Much love. You too, Freedom Grower. Take care.